that will be changing knowledge, experience, as well as learning from one another. The JET initiatives in different municipalities. We've got City Power that is going to share with us a number of initiatives around JET. Similarly, with Midval, they're going to do the same, as well as Ekurhuleni. Are also going to tell us about their JET initiatives that they're pursuing in their municipalities. We will also have the JET projects and opportunities that will be done by GIFA, which is Doc Isaac Salahai, together with TUT, which is Professor Molelekwa from the Department of Environmental Health at the TUT. And there will be COCTA also that will be sharing with us their municipal utility reform program, as well as the INEP program by the Department of Energy or rather Electricity and Energy. And then we'll embark on the questions and answers, discussions, as well as the next step and way forward in terms of where to from here, because it doesn't end here. The journey continues in the just energy transition. My name is Silas Murazi. Forgot to introduce myself. I'm a specialist for sustainable energy working for SALGA based in Pretoria. So without any further overdue, I would like us to welcome the chairperson of Electricity and Energy Working Group, which is Cllr Morero, to take us through the opening welcome as well as purpose of this particular session. Cllr, over to you.
Okay. No, thanks, Doctor, and the Program Director for the day. And let me greet all the colleagues and the speaker, who is also a member of the PEC of SALGA. I do greet you, Speaker. We want to then acknowledge the participants who are here from departments of electricity and energy. I hope the colleagues are here from Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. We want to acknowledge you for your participation in this important gathering this morning. Also acknowledge, of course, the Tshwane University of Technology, the Gauteng Investment and Funding Agency, and the colleagues from SALGA. The speaker is here, and other colleagues. If there's any other mayors and speakers, we also like to acknowledge them. And acknowledge, of course, the municipal managers or their representatives and the members of the committee or the working group. And we want to acknowledge all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to, as the chairperson of the Gauteng Energy Working Group, to welcome you into this meeting and welcome you to the Gauteng Just Energy Transition Awareness Campaign, which is an important campaign that all of us as a country, as municipalities, are undertaking. And thank you for making the time to participate. This is it's an important and critical engagement, especially for municipalities. As local government, we find ourselves at the center of the most significant transition facing our country. The just energy transition is no longer a future conversation. It is already shaping our municipalities and their plans, finance and delivery of services to our communities. We do know that Cabinet approved the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan in 2024 to guide South Africa's transition towards a cleaner, more resilient and inclusive economy. Importantly, the plan recognizes that municipalities are not merely implementers of national policy, but are critical partners ensuring that the transition is practical, equitable, and responsive to local realities. Therefore, through the municipal portfolio under Chapter 10 of the JET IP, SALGA has been entrusted with coordinating and representing municipal interests in this national program. The energy transition is about more than electricity generation. It is about how municipalities prepare for a future where renewable energy, embedded generation, electric mobility, green hydrogen, new electric vehicles, energy efficiency, waste-to-energy initiatives, and climate resilience become part of everyday municipal planning and service delivery. I think all of us are aware that we're now at the stage that as municipalities we must champion the just transition by putting in place necessary plans that will respond and, amongst others, respond to issues of climate change. For Gauteng municipalities, these conversations are particularly important as the country's economic hub. Our municipalities are already experiencing increasing electricity demand, aging infrastructure, climate-related risks, changing investment patterns, and growing expectations from communities and businesses for reliable, sustainable, and affordable services. Today's engagement, therefore, adopts a pivotal approach or a provincial approach, bringing together all Gauteng municipalities. We recognize that while each municipality has its own unique circumstances, we also share many common opportunities and challenges. By coming together, we can learn from one another, identify areas requiring support, and strengthen collaboration across the province. So I believe that we've got an ability in sourcing funding to ensure that all the 5 municipalities from the province of Gauteng, which are Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, Mfuleni, and Mogale, will benefit from the JET funding for the 3-year period of 2026 to 2028, which therefore means as municipalities in the province should be able to work together, identify critical projects and which projects we can be able to access and benefit from the JET funding. This awareness campaign also provides an opportunity to showcase the excellent work already being undertaken by municipalities. We are also privileged to have the City of Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni and Midvaal sharing their just energy transition initiatives, demonstrating how municipalities are beginning to position themselves for a more sustainable future. So these 3 municipalities will have the opportunity to then share with the rest of us what programs and projects they've already undertaken and those that have been planned into the future. The experiences, together with this perspective from the Department of Electricity and Energy, the President's JET Project Management Unit, and other stakeholders, will enrich our discussion and provide valuable lessons for all municipalities. So therefore, the purpose of today's session is, 1, to strengthen municipal understanding of the just energy transition and its implications for local government. Provide an update on national and municipal JET initiatives. Create a platform for municipalities to share experiences, innovations, and lessons. Identify implementation challenges and municipal support requirements. Strengthen collaboration between municipalities, national government, and provincial government. And importantly, strategic partners who could also be part of the private sectors. Ensure that municipal voices continue to shape the implementation of the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan. Therefore, colleagues, the success of the Just Energy Transition will ultimately be measured by the number of policies we produce. In fact, not by the number of policies we produce, but by the impact we make in our municipalities and communities. It must result in better infrastructure, improved service delivery, economic opportunities, environmental sustainability, and above all, a transition that leaves no municipality and no community behind. And I think this is the commitment that SALGA wants to drive, in ensuring that as we enter into such programs, we're able to take and pull all municipalities in Gauteng, whether big or small, to ensure that they can participate actively in the just transition. I therefore encourage everyone to participate actively throughout today's discussions. Share your expectations openly. Raise your concerns honestly and contribute your ideas to the broader discussion. The outcomes of this engagement will definitely assist SALGA in strengthening its support for municipalities and ensuring that Gauteng's priorities are reflected in the National Just Energy Transition Program. With those words and remarks, I would like to once again welcome all of you and wish you a productive sessions in your discussions this morning. And welcome once again to the city of Johannesburg. We are busy demolishing illegal structures and we're going to court, so we're just busy. And the Minister of Finance is also busy with us, so Johannesburg is busy. Thank you very much, Program Director. And as I said to our working group coordinator, I have to be joining the SEZ dialogue in Durban, so I should be leaving quite sooner so that I can catch the flight to the session there. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson of the working group, Cllr Morero. We really appreciate your opening remarks. And we, yes, have noted that Johannesburg is busy, Honorable Councillor. Yeah, no, thank you very much. Indeed, we fully agree with you that Munics are mainly the champions of JET, in particular, Chapter 10 of the JET Municipal Council, of the JET implementation plan. And of course, we know that as municipalities, we are basically, where the rubber hits the road. Therefore, that's where service delivery happens. We're at the forefront of that. Nevertheless, you are spot on. There are various funding opportunities, in which case this is a platform where we want to share that with everyone so that we can know where the fundings and how to access the very same funding. However, as municipalities, we are not going to do this alone. Collaboration and partnership is a way to go. That is Sustainable Development Goal number 17, partnership. Then we do acknowledge that the presence of industries, the presence of academia is quite important to partner in this journey of just energy transition as local government. And obviously our state-owned entities, GIFA and others, are quite key and imperative in this particular journey. Therefore, we fully agree and we acknowledge that for opening the platform. Honorable Councillor, to provide an update for JET, which is exactly what we're going to do in the next item. Of course, this is a space where we're going to learn from one another. We're going to share the JET projects and plans and also share some of the challenges that we are coming across and what are the opportunities and how and what are the strategies to tackle some of the challenges that we are experiencing in this journey of just energy transition. Ladies and gents, allow me to then bring in the next speaker. This is where we are going to learn more around the just energy transition progress as well as key developments from 2024, what has happened, where are we, and what are the different work streams, what is happening in the Chapter 10 of the JET implementation plan. The next speaker will be my colleague, Ms. Baba Luambobo. She's actually going to come and share with us the developments. But otherwise, Honorable Councillor, thank you very much. We noted that you will need to be excused, and yes, we have noted that, and we will definitely expect you to leave at any time when you wish to do so. Thank you very much. Baba.
Good morning. Good morning, all protocols observed. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Babalwa. I am from SALGA. I am the Just Energy Transition Specialist. I work with Dr. Silas Mulauzi under Energy and Electricity Department, which is Trading Services. So today we'll be presenting about Just Energy Transition, the update. Dr. Silas did mention that this particular program, Just Energy Transition, it was approved by the Cabinet in 2024. And then SALGA is the lead institution for Chapter 10 of the Just Energy Implementation Plan. And then there is Chapter 5, which is under the DEE and ESCOM. There is Chapter 6, which is Mpumalanga Green Cluster Agency. There is Chapter 7, which is IDC on NEVs. Chapter 8 is still IDC on green hydrogen, as well as skills development, which is the Department of Higher Education and Training. And then from our side, we are leading Chapter 10, which crosses, which cuts across all other chapters. So today, my presentation outline, we'll be talking a little bit about the core pillars of JET, the Just Transition Framework, which is from the PCC at the Presidency, the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan chapters, the chapters that I've just mentioned from Chapter 5 up to Chapter 10. The Just Energy Transition Municipal Council milestones from 2024 up until now, which is 2026, the energy transition programs, because from our side, under the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan, or let me say Chapter 10, Municipal Council, we are only focusing on 3 work streams, which is municipal capability, finance work stream, as well as energy access. But then chapters such as NEVs and green hydrogen, they are outside from the municipal council. So we call them Just Transition programs. Municipalities who are implementing green hydrogen initiatives, the NEV pipeline in the country, as well as the municipalities' involvement on the renewable energy independent power producers program. Okay, so when it comes to the 3 core pillars of JET, we have been having renewable energy projects for a very long time, or let me say from 2014, because the first project in South Africa, it was implemented in Uppington in 2014. We have been working on EEDSM, or let me say energy efficiency, of which now we are talking about just energy transition. So the just energy transition, you know, it focuses more on the social dimension element. Before, whenever we're implementing these projects, we were not really talking about the social dimension element. So the energy transition, it facilitates a broader social transformation by enabling energy users to participate more meaningfully and benefit from the transition, and offers an opportunity to address climate change. So we are guided by the policy directive. In addition to the IRP, which is about energy mix, as well as the IEP, Integrated Energy Plan, which is about energy access. When we are talking about just energy transition, we are talking about just transition framework, the one coming from the PCC, Presidential Climate Commission. And then there, where do we fit as municipalities? As we all know that as municipalities, you know, we serve as a primary vehicle for localization in terms of linking JET IP priorities. There are about 5 priorities. The first priority is renewable energy, is greenhouse gas reduction, is socio-economic, as I've mentioned earlier. There is quite a number of them, which is about 5 of them. So we need to make sure as SALGA that we integrate all these JET IPs, you know, to communities by making sure that the topic of JET, you know, it aligns with municipal IDPs as well as local economic development plans. We also need to make sure that we lobby for policy reviews, in which way, like even right now, Dr. Silas is working a lot on the free basic electricity, in terms of reviewing that free basic electricity from 50 kilowatt hour to about 200 kilowatt hour. And then lobby policy, as well as to try to actually engage, especially the DEE, in relation to any other policies that are not available, such as the renewable energy policy, whereby you find out that many municipalities, they do have the renewable energy projects, but there are no policies. Whenever they try to review tariff setting for development charges for these new projects, we find out that they are being taken to court by farmers because they are changing the tariffs settings for these energy transition projects, or let me say renewable energy. But then this is where we come in as SALGA in terms of making sure that we assist municipalities in all those different challenges that have been encountered in the country. So what we have realized so far, all over, let me say in about 7 provinces, we have realized that the just part of the energy transition, it has not been addressed adequately, because we find out that the marginalized communities, they don't really benefit from these projects. You find out that we do have projects whereby when you go to the IPP office, you find out that billions, billions of rands are being generated from every specific province, but when you double check in terms of the alignment with IDPs, LEDs, you find out that the beneficiation part is not there. So under the Just Energy Transition, we are addressing about 3 injustices, or let me say energy injustices. The first one is distributive justice. This is where we need to make sure that a fair distribution of benefits to community members within a 50-kilometer radius, they are being addressed. When you go to some provinces, you find out that they generate electricity as municipalities, but these municipalities, this energy is being willed to another province. But then, meaning that we are not addressing the issue of leaving no one behind, because they don't benefit those communities. Like we can go to, for example, one province in the Northern Cape, or let me say in Mtanjeni local municipality, there are about 10 or 20 renewable energy projects. But the energy from those projects, it goes to Velcom, to the mining sector in Velcom. So the communities there, they don't benefit at all, because they are still paying a lot of money when it comes to electricity, because their electricity is still being transmitted from Mpumalanga to the Northern Cape province, of which you do have these projects, in your area. So these are many challenges that we are trying to address under the Just Transition framework. The second issue is the restorative justice, whereby we are trying to rectify historical harm to communities, in a form of, it could be corporate social investment or responsibility, the free basic electricity that I've just mentioned, the free basic alternative energy policy review, because we have realized that even for urban areas, Gauteng, Cape Town, we find out that we still have got many households that are still, not electrified. And then when you try to find out from the DEE, we realize that the FBAE grant, it goes to human settlements. So you find out that these are challenges, because now when it sits with human settlements, so how do we make sure that our communities, they manage, especially the marginalized communities, they manage to get this kind of electricity? Because right now you find out that the DEE, they are prioritizing rural areas, but what about urban areas, which is the cities? So we are also trying to address that issue under the restorative justice in energy transition. The last one is procedural justice, whereby we need to make sure that there is active and inclusive participation of all communities in policy design and implementation. We have realized that most of the time, you find out that the energy transition, it becomes technocratic. There is a top-down approach which is followed instead of a bottom-up approach, of which it needs to be democratic. We need to involve our communities. We need to find out from them what is needed when it comes to these particular issues that we need to address under the energy transition. Yes, we all know that marginalized communities, especially the vulnerable groups that we really need to address when it comes to energy transition, those are from rural areas, informal settlement dwellers, mine-affected communities like in Mpumalanga and in any other provinces. I can also mention women, youth, and disabled people. They are often been excluded from decision-making when it comes to energy transition. So as SALGA, we are trying to address those issues. So what we did, as from Q1 of the 2026, we have been doing JET awareness campaigns in different provinces. And then we have started with Mpumalanga, and then we have realized that the municipalities there, they have raised issues or concerns or their needs in relation to energy transition, whereby they have mentioned issues of EEDSM, which is energy efficiency, because we all know that our municipalities, you know, they are indebted to ESCOM. But then how do we make sure that we address these challenges? But then with that one, we are working especially with World Bank in terms of EEDSM, especially for Mpumalanga municipalities. They've also mentioned issues of waste to energy projects, because you find out that in many areas, municipalities, they do have these landfill sites, but they are not using the energy that can be generated or biogas energy from these landfill sites. In the Western Cape, those were challenges whereby some municipalities, they've mentioned that, Babala, we need assistance in relation to waste to energy projects. And then I'm happy that Tshwane University of Technology is also here to present on that. They've also mentioned especially the new electric vehicle charging stations, because the Department of Transport, you know, is prioritizing that particular technology in terms of shared charging stations. And then we are looking at national roads. Like if you travel from Johannesburg to Cape Town, you will find out in areas such as Machabeng local municipality, when you go down to city of Mangaung, as well as Umsobomvu, Ubuntu, all that route up to Cape Town, there are new electric vehicle charging stations, whereby we are also trying to work with Cllr IDZ, or Special Economic Zone, East London Special Economic Zone, as well as Tshwane, in terms of the production as the automotive industry or manufacturing industry, in terms of when are we going to have these NEVs, because we all know what has been happening in the Middle East. I mean, as time goes on, what if we don't have crude oil at all? So we need to have some options. So yes, when it comes to that, and then also in the Northern Cape, there were issues of spluma as well as wheeling. I think I did speak a little bit about the development charges that we are trying to introduce for every municipality so that they can benefit, because right now this is a missed opportunity for municipalities. For Q2, yes, we have started now with Gauteng province. We will be going to Northwest, Eastern Cape, Limpopo, as well as Free State and KZN. We are also planning to have a peer-to-peer learning in September, whereby we will be making sure that all municipalities, they basically attend this peer-to-peer learning, where we will be inviting especially City of Johannesburg, City Power, because we have realized that there are electric buses for the City of Johannesburg. There is NEV shared charging station at City Power, and then for the City of Cape Town, there is quite a lot of these e-buses. Already there's, I think there's about 47 there, as well as there are 2 shared charging stations there in Somerset West as well as in Belleville. And then when it comes to municipal building rooftop PV, or let me say net zero carbon municipal buildings, which can be reduced by rooftop PV, we all know that at City Power, all 10 CDCs, they do have that, as well as there are about 15 municipal buildings in Cape Town that will be presented in that peer-to-peer. Municipal involvement in green hydrogen, lessons learned, there is quite a lot that we are doing there as SALGA. I will be talking a little bit about that when we go down. Energy availability in marginalized communities, as I've mentioned that JET, it also focuses on marginalized communities, as well as municipal-owned utility-scale PV projects. Okay, thank you. When it goes to the implementation plan, I think I spoke a little bit about these different chapters that we are working with when you go to SALGA. We have been, or we are in a process of finalizing or concluding an MOU with the DEE in relation to the mini-grid rollout. And then this mini-grid rollout for this financial year, they will be prioritizing Gauteng Province, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and KZN in terms of mini-grid rollout, focusing especially in marginalized communities. So this MOU, it has been finalized between SALGA and the DEE. And then Mpumalanga Green Cluster Agency, we're working with them in terms of economic diversification, because we need to make sure that we diversify our economy while we still have, these coal-powered stations. So here we are looking at many other sectors such as waste-to-energy projects, as I've mentioned earlier. Chapter 7, we are working with IDC. We serve on 3 IDC work streams on the NEVs, and then we've also submitted a pipeline of NEVs, let me say at a municipal level. And then Chapter 8, we are also working with IDC in relation to green hydrogen. We will also be serving on 2 work streams there, which is project development forums as well as community engagement on green hydrogen. The skills development zones, we have developed the Municipal Just Energy Transition Skills Development Plan last year in October, where we have identified about 6 categories of skills deficiencies at a municipal level. So we will be aligning these particular municipal JET skills with the Department of Higher Education and Training, because they are implementing Chapter 10 of the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan. And then, as I've mentioned earlier, that SALGA, we are the lead institution for Chapter 10. And then our work here, it cuts across all other chapters under the Just Energy Transition Implementation Plan. So when it comes to the Municipal Council Milestone Tracker, in 2024, there was a conference in Cllr Estate, about Just Energy Transition. And then from that conference, there were resolutions to establish the Municipal Council Just Energy Transition, and then it has been established. It is chaired by our CEO, Mr. Sithole Mbanga, and then the Secretariat, it sits at SALGA. So establishment and operations of the work stream, this work is ongoing because we are having monthly meetings in all 3 work streams, and then we are having quarterly meetings with the CEO. So in these quarterly meetings, we do invite different IGR structures, like National Treasury is there, DEE, COGTA is there. We also invite municipalities, of which City of Johannesburg, they attend all our meetings, the energy team here, as well as City Power. And then finalization of the SALGA and presidency, MOU, this one, it has been finalized, it was finalized this year in March. And then the development of municipal JET skills, it was completed last year in October. Implementation of the municipal JET skills, whereby we are focusing on many different technologies. This one is ongoing. Sourcing of funding, this one is also ongoing. But then in Gauteng Province, there are about 5 municipalities that will be benefiting on IKI. City of Johannesburg is one of those municipalities that will be benefiting but then I will be presenting a little bit about that in my next slides. And then, yes, a finalization of the MOU between DEE and SALGA. As I've mentioned, this is about mini-grids rollout, whereby 35,000 off-grid solutions to 3 provinces. We have completed this MOU between SALGA and DEE. So we do have work streams, 3 work streams. Work stream 1, it focuses on municipal capability. So there's quite a number of projects here. And then going to, it is chaired by SALGA and COGTA, work stream 1. We are looking at research and readiness. There is quite a number of activities that we have done there. As I've mentioned, skills development plan is one of those, feasibility studies, energy master plans, cost of supply, grid access modernization, and wheeling program. So work stream 2. Work stream 2 is about finance. It is chaired by DPSA, but then we are working with them. They report to SALGA in relation to this work. So what has been happening so far, or the funding, JET financing that we have managed to mobilize together with JET PMU in this, let me say from 2025 and 2026, there is MAP, which is Municipal Utility Reform Program. COGTA will be presenting on this, whereby this particular MAP, it will be assisting 4 Mpumalanga municipalities. So the rationale for the first one is basically all those coal-affected municipalities. So the EKI funding program, this one, we have identified, let me say, municipalities from all 9 provinces, and then 20 municipalities will benefit on this particular funding. The rationale for this particular EKI funding is those municipalities with distribution licenses. We all know that it's about 167 municipalities. So we have chosen about 20 municipalities. Yeah, as time goes on, obviously, you know, from 2028, there will be more municipalities that will be chosen. And then the United Nations Development Program, this one, it focuses on 4 municipalities, which is in KZN, Alfred Duma, in Port St. John's, Eastern Cape. I think there is also, yeah, it's about 4 of them, but then the focus here, Drakenstein in the Western Cape, the focus here is those disaster-stricken municipalities, whereby you find out that the electrical infrastructure, you know, it was damaged. So we are looking at that, and then there is also World Bank assisting municipalities in Mpumalanga. There is also the European or FES funding assisting Mpumalanga municipalities. And then, yes, as I've mentioned, jet financing municipalities. The map one is Ligwa, Emalahleni, City of Mbombela, Drakenstein. Yeah, okay, let me quickly go to the EKI one with the Gauteng municipalities. And then next year in 2027, City of Johannesburg will benefit. And then 2028, Mogale City. I think Mfuleni, yeah, Mfuleni is also here. But next year, also City of Ekurhuleni will also benefit, and as well as Tshwane. Yeah, so that's what will be happening under EKI program. And then when it comes to the municipal finance register, yes, you know, the finance envelope and the allocation under JET, as if you can still remember, the pledge, the first pledge, it was 8.5 billion. And then that 8.5 billion, it was increased to 13.9 billion. But as of quarter 4 of 20, or let me say quarter 1 of 2026, this envelope, it sits at 14.36 billion. And then remember, this funding is for all 5 chapters, chapter 5 up to chapter 10. But then with municipalities, we are being allocated 195 million US dollars, which is about 320 billion rands. And then so far, there are only 31 projects in the country, of which City of Johannesburg is one of those projects that are benefiting, as well as City of Cape Town. So the municipal one, it sits at 5.5 billion now as we speak. So the main bottleneck is the lack of bankable investment-ready projects. So as I've mentioned earlier, the EKI program will be trying to address those challenges. We'll be looking at the readiness assessment so that this funding, you know, it can go down to many different municipalities. So this is the challenge that we currently have in relation to municipalities, you know, getting this funding. But we are working on that under Just Energy Transition, especially the 20 municipalities that have been mentioned. We'll be trying to address this challenge. Okay, thank you. Going to the third work stream, which is work stream 3, energy access. We are looking at energy poverty, energy planning, and technology. It is, yes, so this particular work stream, we are looking at energy poverty measuring methods. There is also Mission 300 program that Dr. Silas is working on with African Development Bank as well as World Bank, yes. And then we're also looking at the free basic alternative energy policy for urban areas. As I've mentioned earlier, that this grant, it sits with human settlements. It's no longer sitting with DEE. And there are many challenges because if you go to some urban areas, you know, even the Stats SA, there is quite a huge number whereby you find out that the households are not electrified, like they are not unelectrified households. The free basic electricity policy, the one that I spoke about, we are working on that as well. The INEP work of grid solutions for rural areas as well as urban areas. So we are looking at that under energy access. So I think I did speak about NEVs rollout as well as green hydrogen. So far we have realized that there are about 6 municipalities to 7 municipalities, implementing the green hydrogen initiatives in the country. The Waterberg district in Limpopo, last month, we were working with them on a hydrogen expert mission, SA mission, whereby countries such as Namibia, Germany, Kenya, they were in our offices at SALGA's offices, but I will be talking a little bit about that. So many people, they keep on asking that, Babala, if you present about green hydrogen, you know that this particular technology, it needs a lot of water. But we have realized that municipalities such as in Siatemba local municipality, which is in Briska in the Northern Cape, as well as Mkhalakwena and Lipalal in Limpopo, as long as they do have some rivers there, so they manage to tap into this technology. Yes, we all know that when it comes to the JET IP, it focuses on Buchu Bay, which is the Richtersveld local municipality in Port Nolloth, Namakwa district, Saldanha Bay, which is in the Western Cape, West Coast district, as well as Nelson Mandela Bay and city of eThekwini. But then other municipalities, we have realized that they can also harness green hydrogen as long as they do have some rivers, inland, so they can manage to tap into this particular technology. We are working with GIZ, especially the connective cities from Germany. And then chapter 10 and chapter 8 alignment, which is green hydrogen. I think I did mention earlier that we are aligned with this particular technology in terms of project development workstream 2, as well as a community engagement workstream 3, whereby we need to make sure that there are positive socio-economic impact to community members. There's quite a lot that we are doing with them there. So the hydrogen economy expect mission, it was last month at SALGA's offices. As I've mentioned, that Namibia was there, Kenya, Germany, connective cities, and then the local institutions that we have invited. It was the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation, SANEDI, DDET, Northern Cape, GIZ country office, and different municipalities in the country. So it was a very successful mission. And then the objective for this mission was to access municipal readiness for hydrogen economy initiatives in the country, identify bankable projects aligned with JET IP, strengthen collaboration between municipalities, industry, and a research institution. The mission outcomes, we are still working on that, but there was quite a lot that was communicated there, which included identification of 3 potential green hydrogen projects, a cooperation framework between Germany headquarters. So these were the colleagues from the headquarters of Germany, from Germany. There was quite a lot happening there. And then alignment with chapter 7, which is the NEVs. Yes, SALGA is aligned on 3 NEV workstream. We serve on the actual workstreams from the IDC. Public transport workstream, this is where we are talking about e-buses, and we have realized that there's quite a number of cities, who have procured zero-emission buses, as well as City Power has launched the NEV shared charging station, as well as City of Cape Town with their Somerset West, as well as Belleville. So NEV charge stations workstream. So far, we've mapped approximately 15 NEVs charging stations in different municipalities. But there are some challenges in relation to SANRAL when it comes to NEVs, but we are working on that as SALGA. Yes, I am about to finish now. I see my colleague here, but then I'm about to finish. Yes, the involvement of municipalities on the RIPP program, there is quite a lot there, whereby we have realized that there is quite a lot of money coming from the RIPP program, like where we need to make sure that we are aligned when it comes to corporate social responsibilities, the community trust, making sure that marginalized communities, they benefit through corporate social responsibilities. In terms of our solar street lights, there's quite a lot, solar home systems, to some communities, especially targeting the elderly, as we always say that when it comes to just energy transition, we need to make sure that there is no one who's left behind. There's quite a lot happening there. And then we're also working with some municipalities in terms of making sure that there are development charges that are being introduced, because right now there isn't. Thank you. That was all from our side as SALGA. Thanks.
Okay, now thank you very much, Babala, for such a comprehensive update on the JET implementation plan, Chapter 10 to be specific. What I want to try to do now is that was a comprehensive update in terms of JET update, in terms of projects and funding, in terms of project finance register and many other things. So I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions before we go for tea. My fear is that once we start with tea, you may forget some of the key important questions. Perhaps let me see if there is any question that you wish to ask. Babala is available during tea time as well as lunchtime. Some of these engagements, you can take them offline during the tea time or lunchtime. Nevertheless, I need to open up for any question, comments, or any remarks. That's one. I noted you, Jackie. Is there any other question, comment, or remark? Okay, two. Okay, I noted two hands. Let's allow both hands to come in and yes, and then we will then answer those questions and break for tea. Starting with you, Jackie. Yes.
I would like to find out what was the criteria that was used to choose the municipalities that qualify, those 20 municipalities. And King IKA or...
Yes, IKI projects. Yes, you want to know what was the criteria. Thank you very much, Jackie, for that question. Ms. Majola, is it you next? Oh, yes.
Hi, I just want to ask, Asimukale City is on the list for 2028. What does that mean? Are we going to start doing the designs in 2028, or there's going to be feasibility studies and consultation prior to 2028? Is 2028 implementation, or that's when we're starting? Thanks.
Okay, no, thank you. So, okay, the criteria or the rationale for the 20 municipalities is those municipalities with distribution licenses. I think I did mention that it's about 167, all in all. But obviously, with the funding that we have for 2026 up to 2028, we could only choose about 20 for now. But obviously, from all different provinces. Yes. Okay, okay, maybe let me go back a little bit. In 2024, the PCC, they've identified, I think, 20 municipalities. But then from that 20, they only managed to assist about 10. So now, they still went back to the very same municipalities. So, yeah, that's what actually happened in terms of readiness. Readiness.
To add on that answer, Jackie, it was a situation where they do source this funding, and then they do consider potential municipalities with capacity and ability to implement the projects they have in mind from the funding that they would have sourced. So what I've done is that they used a publication, is it from States SA, that outlines the top 20 municipalities in terms of electricity sales. Then they are starting with the top 20. Of course, we did allude that even municipality 21 to 167, they do have ability and capacity to do what you want to. Nevertheless, they did source, but they did urge with us that we give them an opportunity to explore this with the top 20 in terms of electricity sales per volume. That's what they basically use. They use a certain publication from State SA, and then went according to the list up to the top 20 in terms of volume of electricity sales. Thank you. Second question.
Oh, okay, so yeah, everything started in 2024, which is why now 2026 and 2028, it will just be the implementation. I think the second question, it was about 2028. I think in my presentation, you saw that in 2026, there are about 5 municipalities. 2027, there are about 10. And then 2028, there are about 5 more. So we have started already with that work. It's not that we are waiting for 2028. But then for this year, focusing on 5, next year 10, and then 2028, another 5.
In terms of what you should be doing, I heard your question. Yes, what is it that you need to do in preparation for 2028? Yes, this is it's a program where there will be an engagement. I can tell you, as is now, the engagement is with the 2026 cohort. Nevertheless, soon there will be engagement with 2027 cohort in terms of answering your questions as to what are the expectations, what is the size of the funding, and what are the specific programs, and what capacity do you need to have in order to execute the projects that will need to be implemented from the funding. We can share with you the 2026 cohort as to what are the programs, but nevertheless, there will be engagement with those that are in the 2028, but in the next few months, there will be engagement with the 2027 ones in terms of exactly answering the questions that you are asking. Thank you very much. I think we have dealt with the 2 questions. What I want to recommend now is that we break for tea. 10 minutes is 11:28. Let's then come back at 11:38, and we'll immediately take 3 sets of presentations from the metros, well, from municipalities, City Power, Midvaal, as well as Ekurhuleni, and then we'll open it up for discussion after the 3 sets of presentation. But let's break for tea now, and let's come back at 10:38. Please, we can come back with with our tea, and yeah. Thank you very much. Let's do that.
idea to
in the next three presentations that will be delivered sequentially, City of Tshwane, well, is City Power, which is COJ, will be followed by Midval, and the last one will be Ekurhuleni, in that order, and then we'll open it up for questions and discussions. But without any further ado, let's then give hands of applause to our presenter from City Power, who's going to give us the very first presentation, Mr. Thabiso Mavone. He is a senior manager responsible for Just Energy Transition. Over to you, Mr. Mavone.
Good morning. I think the protocols have been established. So I'll just start by greeting everyone in the meeting or in the auditorium. And I'm here to present the initiative of the City of Johannesburg through City Power on the Just Energy Transition. So maybe I should just introduce who City Power is. City Power is an entity of the City of Johannesburg, and it plays a crucial role in ensuring and advancing the the climate change plan and reducing the greenhouse gas, reducing the gas emissions, and also in the transitioning from the fossil fuel to your renewable energy space. So we are benchmarking or following the IRP in ensuring of the energy security, supply, and considering the environmental protection. And we also take into consideration the Climate Change Act of 2024, and also we are governed by the IRP. So just a bit of a deep dive onto your Just Energy Transition, how we translate, how we understand it. We know that central to your Just Energy Transition, there is like the trilemma or the energy trilemma, where it's anchored around energy sustainability, energy security, and energy affordability. So the just part of your Just Energy Transition, we're looking at the inclusivity, doing just to the people and the earth. So with doing just, we're talking about capacity building. We're talking about the people that were dependent on the economy of your fossil fuel, which is your coal. Also people who dependent on the employment for your energy that was generated through coal. And then the energy part, we're looking at continuing to distribute energy around the city. We're looking at the infrastructure. We don't want the emergence of the renewable energy to collapse the current infrastructure. And we'll talk about the bylaws, the procedural adopting of the renewable energy initiatives in the next few slides, where we're talking about your SSEGs, we're talking about your MIPPs, we're talking about your STPPs. And then we're talking about the transitioning. Transitioning is about moving from the old way of doing things to the future. So we are looking into generating our new energy sources, looking into your OCGTs, talking about the solar PVs, gas to power, and other technologies. So the shift from the coal or the fossil fuel to the new or the cleaner energy, known as your Just Energy Transition. City Power has developed their own renewable energy systems across all their SDCs, your service delivery centers, as it has already been shared on the previous slide. We are looking at about 1 megawatt of panels and inverter systems at our head office here in Ruven. and also 2 megawatt battery storage. And then the other two SDCs, which is like your Lenetia and Rodiport, that were commissioned about 2 years ago. We're looking at 1 megawatt each. And basically, as a move from the old way of or trying to decarbonize or reduce your carbon emissions, we're also looking at business continuity, where whenever there's no power, at least the customers can still be able to reach us out and we able to assist them without saying the systems are offline and other things. And then in a broader scheme of things, we look at the energy mix. So when the new technologies are coming into our network, our grid has to be stable. So we're looking into how do we introduce your solar PVs, how do we introduce your BESS, how do we introduce your gas to power, how do you use to, like, from the waste to energy, how do we do that? And we've got some few initiatives, vehicles, which we're talking about the plan for the future, investment, the current. So on the current, we're looking at like your SACGs, which is your small scale embedded generators. Around the city of Johannesburg, we have been able to register about 1,347 customers. We're talking about here commercial LPUs, we're talking about also the residents. So in that, we have, this is accounting to about a capacity of about 187 megawatt, and it is split between your commercial and your residents. And then we're looking also at a vehicle called the Short-Term Power Purchase Program, which is the SAPPP. It's a 3-year program. So here we're talking about surplus energy. So any customer, service provider within our area of supply that has an excess energy of about 1 megawatt and above, there was the first phase where they have to come in and sign a PPA to supply us with that excess power. And the first phase, we were able to sign up 3 PPAs, which were amounting to about 81 megawatt. The second phase, we signed PPAs with about 7 IPPs, which amounted to about 177 megawatt, and the battery storage system to about 204 megawatt. And then the future investment plan and what is in the pipeline, we're talking about the MIPPP, which is your Municipal Independent Power Producing or Purchase Program. So this one is a long-term 20-year program, and we're looking currently, we are looking at achieving the ministerial determination and the concurrence from NERSA. So the authorization from your arms of state, from local, provincial, and national, we have already received those authorization. So currently we are on a feasibility study program to do our own due diligence as a city of Johannesburg. This is a program where we talk about your partnerships on your renewable energy space. So in that, the SAPPP, it is anchored around Section 33 of MFMA. This one is anchored around Section 120 of MFMA. And if you were to look into the feasibility study, the guidelines, what needs to be done, we as a city, we have to do our own due diligence. And once we start onboarding the service providers, they also have to do their own due diligence in a form of feasibility study to see how feasible will this system be with regard to your designs, how they're going to be connecting into our grid, how stable our grid is going to be, because we also, on our due diligence part, we're also looking into making our grid to be smart. And we have also deployed microgrids around the city. And this is where we talk about access to energy. when we're referring to your poor communities, people who were less affording. So we have deployed, I think, around 5 microgrids around the city of Johannesburg. The first one is Amarasta. If maybe I may go to the next slide. Amarasta, you can see that it's got like your 500 kilowatt inverter systems with a 2 megawatt battery storage and all the details there. This is in Alexander. And then we also have a Shalazile microgrid. This is a settlement in the Denver community. And this is one of the communities that was relocated from one of the accidents that happened or disasters that happened in around the CBD where the building caught fire. And then the residents were moved to this area. And then we have deployed a microgrid there. I'm not sure if you can see the picture of that microgrid. It's about 1 megawatt solar PV systems with about 1 megawatt inverter systems. And then we also have the View. The View is also one of the informal settlement. We have like the solar PV stations there, about 10 of the ports, and amounting to about an area of about 45 kilowatt per port, and then about 10 kilowatt and 30 kilowatt per port. And then we've got Vlakfontein. It's also, I think you can see the picture there, it amounts to about 2 megawatt PV systems with about 4 megawatt battery storage. Vukani, it has got 2 megawatt PV systems with about 4 megawatt battery storage. And these are some of the initiatives that we have rolled around the city of Johannesburg, and they are still other initiatives that we are still going to be engaged on and implementing. And we also have a flagship EV charging station at our head office that was launched recently. It has about 10 supercharging stations. So a standard car of about your 30 kilowatt battery size, it will charge within 30 minutes and then it'll be good to go. And the benefits are there. We reduce the fuel consumption. I mean, if you have vehicles that goes to the city, around the city, and this is also, it was a prototype. We're also looking into rolling this across our SDCs, across the city, where it makes sense for us to be able to make business out of it. And in that also, we're looking into reducing the carbon emissions. Onto that, as we'll be talking about the policy and the strategic alignment, we'll be looking into your Paris Agreement, your net zero, where you have to have interventions with regard to your jet. We do interventions to reduce the burden on the atmosphere by reducing your carbon emissions. And we also have like your energy efficiency. So there are a lot of benefits with regard to energy efficiency, and we also have to teach as part of our capacity building, inform the public what is it that they can do to be able to achieve reduction on your carbon emissions, also reducing the costs of things that they're doing, and saving on power. Also part of the initiatives is retrofitting as part of your energy efficiency, retrofitting the high consumption lights to your energy efficient lights. Also to do the audits on our city buildings. Currently we have audited about 100 buildings, and we have issued your EPC certificates to about 57 buildings. And we have retrofitted about 271 air conditioner systems, which are more energy efficient. And the benefits to that, we've seen that we have been able to achieve a reduction of about 15% of the retrofits in terms of energy consumption of the lights or energy efficient retrofits. And this one is just to paint a summary of the lighting retrofits and also the HVAC system retrofits, and just give details as to like we were able to do 171 units completed in the previous financial year, and the current financial year we have completed about 100. And then we also have like the interventions of installing the solar heating, water heating systems in your less fortunate areas. So with this one, it is just to try to assist in areas where you find like the non-paying customers, they are using all manner of plans to heat up water. So with this one, we'll be able to at least lessen the burden on the grid by rolling out your solar heating systems around those communities. And then the impact here as City Power, we are actually decarbonizing the atmosphere practically so by introducing the energy mix through your IPPs. We're modernizing the infrastructure with your microgrid systems, your smart metering. You're also looking into enabling the equitable access to the less fortunate through cheaper power and those communities that never thought they would be electrified. And also we implementing your climate change policy in the form of like your city cap. And then the policy alignment, we've got a lot of policies that we align ourselves with, we benchmark in our reforms to ensure that we do the right thing. We're looking at your National Energy Efficiency Strategy, your United Nations Sustainable Development Goals with the Paris Agreement. We also look at the City of Johannesburg Climate Action Plan. We also look at your National Treasury Circular 88. And then when you come into concluding this, the circular or what was sent for us to be able to align ourselves with for this particular presentation was also looking into our vision. What are we all about? What are we prioritizing? So it is very clear on the presentation that I just shared that we have rolled out a good number of initiatives in terms of your RE, your renewable energy space, what we are doing in terms of the just to our communities. And in terms of like the renewable energy and embedded generation, we have rolled out about 187 megawatt into our system. The energy efficiency programs, we are retrofitting the solar street lights, we are retrofitting your old air conditioning system to your new inverter type of systems. The sustainability in terms of transport, we have launched a flagship EV charging station at our Ruven SDC. In terms of our greenhouse initiatives and hydrogen, we don't have anything with regard to that. In terms of our partnership with your JET supporting implementation, we're looking at your SCPP, we're looking at your MIPPP. And then the lesson learned, we have learned some few lessons to the municipality of eThekwini with regard to your MIPPP. They had a roadmap that we also had our own roadmap to achieve the section 34 of the ministerial determination, but it has not been an easy journey, as much as they have already warned us that this is not an easy journey. So we are still learning new things that were not part of their learnings as well. Because I think one of the things is like they are a municipality, they are not an entity of the municipality. So there are certain mandates that they carry, and there is a certain mandate that we carry in terms of like your MSA 76, 77, and 78. So we are that mechanism. They had to outsource the mechanism in terms of your MSA. And then, yeah, the last part is just to make sure that our alignment and what the benefits are with regard to our just energy transition. We're looking at like your fast energy intervention. We're looking at your low cost of energy. I mean, the climate solution. I mean, we have seen what has been happening in the past where the climate change influences the weather patterns across the whole world. And now the financial stability. The more we're going to reduce in terms of like how much we spend towards the electricity, I think there will be more liquidity to the families that are less affording. And we're also looking to our creditworthiness. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you very much, Mr. Taviso. I am timing the 3 municipalities. It's 20 minutes each, and I can see that he was left with 43 seconds. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much for giving me my 43 seconds back. They're very valuable 43 seconds. I can do a lot with these 43 seconds. Thank you very much. I think a lot of things that we have learned from you, Taviso. And I would like to urge colleagues to note the questions. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to call upon the next speaker from Midvaal Municipality. That is Mr. Ngobani Nkomo. He's a director responsible for electrical services in Midvaal. Mr. Nkomo, over to you. I'm going to do the same, Mr. Nkomo. I'm going to time you 20 minutes. Once the alarm goes off, do know that your time is off. Yeah, thank you very much. Over to you.
Greetings, colleagues. All protocol observed. I'm Ngobani Nkomo from Midvaal. What I'll be doing today is to just present in terms of the Midvaal local municipalities' current energy transition initiatives, as well as to try and demonstrate our readiness in terms of this just energy transition. Also, I'll touch on the implementation challenges, as well as identify partnership opportunities, as well as recommend interventions which are required from various stakeholders. Okay, just in case there could be someone who doesn't maybe know where Midvaal is, we are actually a small municipality. We are a Category B municipality, which is situated just in the middle of the Vaal region. We comprise of 15 wards, and we have within the district of Sidibeng, we have Lisedi on the other side, as well as Mfuleni, a local municipality. That is just the map. I will go straight to maybe the summary. Yes, there. As I have already said, there in terms of the area of coverage, we cover about 1,722 square kilometers. We have about 15 municipal wards. And then in terms of the drive for small-scale embedded generation, we have recorded about 72 registered customers. And then we also busy with energy efficiency in terms of the energy efficiency and demand-side management. We have done about 817 retrofits from the old high-pressure sodium lights to the LED equivalent, which is the 100 watts LED lights. That was last financial year. For this new financial year, we have 634 LED retrofits, which are planned as well. We also to mention, we have also done solar street lights and HIMARS lights retrofits, which is the conversion to solar. On that one, I would say it has helped us a lot, especially we had some challenges. There are some areas where we had challenges, especially of cable theft, and that has assisted us because we had to prioritize those hotspot areas, and we had to roll out some solar street lights as well as solar HIMARS lights, which is still continuing. Over and above our drive to provide electricity to customers through connections. Also the key thing which we're trying to do is we are busy with a feasibility study to try and procure alternative power from independent power producers, which is ongoing for this financial year. And also there is some feasibility studies on landfills with possible waste to energy projects in future. In terms of the priorities which we as a municipality are having, we're trying to prioritize infrastructure reliability, energy security, energy efficiency, embedded generation, as well as financial sustainability. Just to mention, in terms of we have about 8 points of intake in terms of where we source power from, of which 6 are from Eskom, and then the 2 is with our neighboring Emfuleni local municipality in terms of the bulk supply. There you can see just the major areas which form part of our license, as well as there are areas which are supplied by Eskom as well. As I have already mentioned, there we have done some PV solar projects, which also involved the conversion of to LED street lights, as well as HIMARS lights as well. We have an SSEG framework where we have SSEG policy, which we apply to even our customers. In terms of also, we have done also a cost of supply study, which is also a requirement for any tariff applications in terms of tariff increases or reviews. We have also a sound electricity loss reduction measures, which we currently having. And then in terms of we also have a control room project which is underway, which will be completed in future, which will also assist us in terms of monitoring our network, as well as the energy efficiency and demand side management part of it, which I have already mentioned. In terms of the SSEG program, we had to do awareness campaigns, as well as go through a drive for our customers to register, where we also had to offer some discounted registration fees as well. So that drive, it helped us a lot, because there were a lot of customers which came through, and this will assist us in terms of the compliance matters, as well as the self-grid integration, as well as the revenue protection side of it. Okay, I think this was what I was trying to explain. In terms of the energy efficiency program, We have the funding from the Department of Electricity and Energy, which is under INEP, the portion of it, which is the EEDSM, the 2.0. As I have already touched, we replacing high pressure sodium street lights with the LED street lights. That will be from 250 watts HPS lights to the 100 watts LED lights. Also within that grant, there is a component of capacity building in terms of training, as well as graduate employment, as well as public awareness campaigns. Also, there is a portion of doing a comprehensive business case, which also takes into account the whole of the infrastructure, as well as the municipal buildings and wastewater plants and etc. So that will be what we'll also be busy with this financial year. This energy efficiency program, it assists us in terms of reducing the electricity consumption and lower the maintenance costs as well, and improved lighting quality as well. It's just the statistics in terms of where we are in terms of this energy efficiency program. We have retrofitted about 817 street lights with a planned 634 for this new financial year. And there is some savings as well which are attached to that. This is just a slide on the progress in terms of the this energy efficiency program. And this one is just an illustration of the annual savings. In terms of the electricity network modernization, we're busy with the current initiatives include distribution network assessments, protection coordination improvements, revenue protection, asset management improvements, as well as SCADA and control room planning. In future, we looking at even the more of the distribution automation, grid visibility, and digital substations, as well as smart metering. On the aspect of smart metering, we already applied to be part of the national, that transversal contract for smart metering with the National Treasury. So we're planning to roll out even smart meters. In terms of the renewable energy, on a couple of our municipal buildings, we have already installed rooftop solar systems, including even on a couple of our libraries as well. And on wastewater and water treatment plants, we have already started with even battery storage systems. And also on some buildings, we plan to also install PV solar systems, even on our parking lots. Future opportunities, municipal wheeling, municipal power purchase agreements, as well as renewable energy procurement. As I've already mentioned, we're busy with a feasibility study for the procurement of power from IPPs. Also on we'll progress and continue even on having more battery storage systems, as well as we wish in future to have some microgrids as well. In terms of the municipal challenges, despite the progress, we have some challenges, which probably in terms of the first one, which is on the regulatory side, the limited guidance on municipal wheeling, as well as the export tariff, where we take into account our SSCG customers, where probably if we had in place already a feed-in tariff, they would benefit from that as well, but it is still a work in progress. And then on the financial side, capital funding, which is limited, and as well as the maintaining stability in terms of the electricity cells, and then the also funding with regards to our infrastructure in terms of the upgrades. On the technical side, our infrastructure, the more, it goes without saying that the more years we accumulate in terms of usage, they age. So it's part of the challenges which we have. And also in terms of the manpower, we need to constantly upgrade skills. Also, there is the aspect of the, in terms of our SACG customers, some who don't come up front to register. There is that aspect of the problem of them fitting into our network as well. And then the problem of illegal connections, as well as the theft and vandalism of our infrastructure. In terms of the support required, I'm sure it will be common for even other municipalities as well. Funding in terms of network strengthening, battery storage systems, smart grid technologies, as well as smart metering, as well as the side of capacity building, technical training, jet planning, renewable energy integration, as well as energy modeling. And then the policy side of it in terms of the SSEG side, as well as municipal wheeling and revenue protection. Over and above being a municipality, over and above the collaboration which we have with municipalities, there is still more chance to further cooperate or collaborate with other stakeholders, like we are here today, SALGA, and I have already mentioned the Department of Electricity and Energy. We get some grants from them as well. National Treasury, CSIR. Also, there is an opportunity for them already. It's still in the pipeline for assistance in terms of some studies and research within our municipality. Yes, finance institutions, universities, the private sector, and as well as the IPPs. The priority areas will be pilot projects, skills development, technology demonstrations, as well as the funding support. I think I have touched on this one in terms of the progress, the LED streetlight program, which is ongoing, smart meter rollout, which is planned, the SSEG registrations, which are ongoing, then the solar PV on municipal buildings, which is still ongoing, as well as battery storage, other plant, and like the smart grid technologies, control room modernization, as well as the distribution automation, as well as the municipal renewable energy procurement, which we already doing feasibility studies. Yeah, because if we can be able to tap into some grant funding for municipal grid strengthening, that we will appreciate, as well as development of a municipal renewable energy implementation framework, then the support in terms of the municipal battery storage pilot projects, as well as the expanding funding for smart grids and digital infrastructure, as well as the technical support for the municipal jet planning, as well as the municipal private sector partnerships. Before I just wrap up everything, maybe just to show just a couple of projects within the municipality where we're trying to expand even our capacities and grid security. This was just a substation, and as well as the provision of electricity, which is the electrification of informal settlements as well, as well as the, this was just an energy efficiency awareness, where we had to even have some schools competitions with the aim to try and increase the awareness in terms of energy efficiency. Okay, then these just the those are the solar high-mast lights which we retrofitted, and we have put in a couple of areas with the priority on hotspot areas where there is increased crime, and yeah, these have helped a lot. In conclusion, we, as a municipality, we support the just energy transition, and as I have already mentioned, we have done a couple of some initiatives, and even in future we plan to do more so that we can fully realize the benefits of the transition. Yeah, because what's key is strengthening of the municipal distribution networks, because that's fundamental to integrating renewable energy as well as improving energy security, ensuring a just, inclusive, and financial sustainable transition for municipalities. With those few words, that sums up my story. Thanks a lot.
No, thank you very much, yeah, Mr. Nkomo. You managed to finish your presentation in 19 minutes, 36 seconds. Thanks for the 14 seconds. I really needed that 14 seconds. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The last speaker in terms of this particular item, it is Ms. Majola. She's a chief engineer from Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality. You can come this side, Ms. Majola, and take us through a number of just energy transition initiatives that are unfolding in Ekurhuleni. I'm sure you are noting the questions, and you can see the similarities between different initiatives in different municipalities, and a number of projects that are being planned. So it does indicate that municipalities are really committed and dedicated to implement the JET projects. One aspect that is most important, Mr. Nkomo, and also the previous speaker, Tabiso, is the evaluation, monitoring, reporting in particular, and quantification of emission reductions, which I saw you touched on that. It's about sustainability. So a report like sustainability to monitor and measure CO2 emission reduction from these initiatives, as well as the rand and cent saved from the initiatives that you are sharing with us. Thank you very much. Having said that, Ms. Majola, over to you. Your 20 minutes start now. Thank you.
Okay. Afternoon. I'm Punki Majola, City of Ekurhuleni, in the Alternative and Renewable section. I will be taking you through our City of Ekurhuleni JET initiatives that we have carried out. The City of Ekurhuleni is a Category E municipality, one of the largest metros, as well as one of the largest electricity distributors. We are reliant on Eskom for power requirements, with a total of 2.5 gig demand, which is 7% contribution to the South African demand. Currently, we have, of the 2.5 gig, the 5 megawatt is currently generated in-house by the city. So we have now started looking into own generation through the solar rooftop and a landfill gas within the city. We have different distribution units within the city. We have 9 distribution units, which is Alberton, Benoni, Boxbeck, Brakpan, Edenvale, Germiston, Kempton Park, Nigel, and Springs. Of our distribution unit, 90% of them, it's household that have access to conventional electricity connection. The city has established a program of informal settlement electrification through the National Treasury Grant funding, and the remaining 10% primarily consists of unconnected households in informal settlement relying on alternative energy resources. What we have done in terms of alternative energy resources and from the just energy transition side of it, we have solar high masts lighting, which is mostly in the informal settlement, which are energy efficient. We have solar home light system that we are using in the informal settlement, energy efficient as well. We have installed solar water heaters in those buildings that are owned by municipality. We have embedded generation that we have installed on our municipal buildings, and we have other embedded generation, which is from the customers, where the customers have installed the embedded generation, and those that have registered will report on that. These are some of the solar high masts and the solar home lighting that the city is busy with under energy efficiency. The city has installed solar rooftop on council-owned buildings. This is embedded generation. You will see in Alberton, we have installed 500 kilowatt solar rooftop on the Alberton Customer Service Center. We've done the same at Tembisa. We have installed 250 kilowatt solar rooftop. Boxbeck, the same. We have installed 250. Kempton Park, we have installed 750 kilowatt solar rooftop as well. Bunny Park, those are ground mounted. Bunny Park has got land, that's where we did the ground one. And OR Tambo Precinct, we have done 200 kilowatt, which is a ground mounted solar. Nigel Customer Service, we have done 250. Albertine, we have done 250, the same with Springs. So from what we have installed this solar rooftop, and we installed the AMR meters, meters that we can automatically see what is the saving from the city, to say this is what we used to consume from Eskom before we installed this solar rooftop. After we've installed, what is the saving that we are getting as the city? So what we have done, this is the report that we extracted from our smart meters to see what are we exporting from the grid. You will see, I have indicated earlier on to say in Kempton Park we have installed 750 kilowatts. So this was our usage before we installed the solar rooftop. We were sitting at we were consuming 306 from Eskom. After we installed, we are now only consuming 89. So you will see that our monthly saving in terms of kilowatts is 225. And these are the actual consumption recorded, because we have billing meters that we installed to see the actually real-time consumption of these buildings. We've done the same in Alberton, where we are saying our monthly saving in terms of kilowatts, we are saving 264,000 kilowatts, the same with Boxbeck, and we rounded everything up. And what we have investigators was that since the installation of the solar rooftop, we have saved 2 million in terms of our bill from Eskom just by installing solar rooftops in the 9 distribution units. So this has been a real cost saving for the city. We went to quantify that. Of the solar rooftop, we've added the battery storage as well. So what we have done, these are the battery storage that we have installed. This is one of the areas where we have installed in the Nigel Customer Service. So we've done the solar rooftop with the battery storage as well. That is on the solar rooftop side of it. In terms of the grid penetration, where the customers are coming forth to register the grid penetration. We do have where customers are registering. We are using the SSEG portal. From the reporting that we are using, we have seen that over 300 megawatts have been approved of the installed capacity, because what we do, they will apply, then we have an approval time where it takes between 5 and 60 days from the date that you do the application to the approval. So 90% of the application received from the SSEG portals are from industrial or commercial customers. We have seen 45 megawatt estimated residential of unregistered system. The solar, what we have done in terms of the registration, the customers were very excited because we have embarked on a feed-in tariff where customers can sell back to the city the excess capacity that they have. So we have designed a solar feed-in tariff as the city. What we have done, we've procured a billing system that we will be able to actually assist the customers. In the new financial year, the system is still on the pilot. We took a few customers that we have put on the pilot project for the billing system, specifically for the feed-in tariff. Customers are allowed to apply. We've got an application process where customers come in to apply for the feed-in tariff in terms of their excess energy they'd like to feed into the grid. The table here demonstrates the number of customers and the applications that we are receiving. You will see there has been a very great improvement in terms of the number of applications that we have received and the installed capacity. You will see there when you look from 2010 right up to 2024, there's quite a huge difference of customers coming through to register their SSEG within the city. So we have quite a good penetration. We are still encouraging customers to apply. This is one of our large EG systems that we have, and this is our landfill gas that I have indicated earlier on, that the city has went on embarking in terms of saving, and from the JET initiative. We have this is in Germiston, it's one of our landfill gas initiative from the city. These are our solar initiative. This is the precinct that we said it was ground mounted. These are the pictures of that. What the city has gone into, we have increased our sustainable share of renewable energy. The city embarked on a municipal independent power producer process. The process, we initiated it in 2017. We had 2 bid windows. The first bid window started in 2017, whereby we appointed service providers. In the bid window one, we had a total of 44 independent power producers that were appointed by the city. The projects were totaling to 251 megawatts. So we had different technologies that they proposed to the city. We had solar, we had waste technology, natural gas, landfill, fine coal classification. So the IPPs had to indicate to the city how they are planning to penetrate using the different technologies. So in the first bid window, the IPPs have started in terms of identifying the land, where they will be, where the land will be. And then we went on the second bid window as well, where we appointed more of the IPPs. On the second bid window, we appointed 30 IPPs. So from the 2 bid windows, our sum of what we are planning to procure, we are looking at 2.1 gig on the 2 bid windows from all the IPPs that we've appointed. The cost benefit, maybe someone will say, why are we going from ESCOM to IPPs? This is a model of the cost benefit. So we're saying if ESCOM sells me 10 units at 2 rands per kilowatt to the city, so the city will then uses 10 units per month at a cost of 20, and then the city will then sell what the city will do is it will sell to the city and we make a profit of 10 rands to the city from the 20 rands. But with the penetration of the IPPs into the network, the city will actually make a profit of 13 rands with a saving as well of 3 rands. So this is just the study that we have done in terms of how can the city benefit and make more profit and ensure that the savings that we incur, we pass it to the customers. Because as soon as Eskom increases the prices, the customer bear the brunt, because we have to ensure we do make profit as well as the municipality. This is one of our solar farms that is in Fontaine, which is 100 megawatt. The IPP has completed the EIA, environmental studies, grid impact studies has been completed. The city in May, we have submitted our section 34 to the minister. So that was submitted in May already. The minister indicated the receipt of the section 34 from the city, and then they will come back to us. So we are hoping that any time from now we will get feedback in terms of the determination from the minister. So we have gone into bankability as well. Most of our IPPs were saying the security was an issue in terms of funding. What we went to do, we presented to council the escrow account that served at council in terms of the escrow account. So the item was approved by council for the escrow account for the IPPs, so that we have signed the escrow account in June with the IPPs, which was one of the big roadmaps for the IPPs that we appointed for the city. That is one of the big. So once we get the section 34, we are hoping we get one sort turning in October. The land is ready. Most of our IPPs are ready. As soon as we get the section 34 determination, we are ready to break ground. This is one of the waste to energy projects that how the waste energy project looks like. This one is the one that the city owns, that is in Jamestown. We have again a 20 megawatt waste to energy plant proposal that is in SLN Park. The independent power producer is ready to start. The EIA has been completed, grid impact studies has been completed. We are ready to break ground there. This is the Fontaine one that we have. We have a gas plant coming up in Springs that that one IPP will be looking at. This one is the one that we are hoping it will be one of our pilot ones. It's in implants plant there by Springs. So they will be supplying the 27 megawatt gas plant to the city. Grid impact studies has been done. The service provider has ensured that they should be able to start, though we do have challenges with gas. We had the conversation around how are we going to go around with gas. Challenges are there, but we are hoping end of the year we should be able to look into the gas side of it. So we, in terms of the IPPs that we've appointed, 80% of them it's solar. We have solar BPS and just a plain solar. So most of them they have secured the land. What they have done is they ensured that they secured the land close to the Ekurhuleni substations, because this is where they will be supplying us directly from Eskom. So they will be tapping directly from our bus from the Eskom side. The projects have, most of them, the groundwork has been done. The solar farm, the land is ready. I went to see one land already that's been scraped clean to start in terms of installation. So the IPPs are ready. One of the other JET initiatives that the city is busy with is the IPP wheeling that we are currently doing, whereby we have IPPs within the city that these are not municipal, these are just independent IPPs. As the city, we have a wheeling framework that the city has that we have that is published on our website that has been approved by council. So the framework is there, it's ready for customers. So the framework we have started, customers are doing applications in terms of wheeling, whether you will from an ESCOM grid to a municipal grid, or you will between City of Ekurhuleni and City of Ekurhuleni. So we do have the application forms for wheeling. Customers have been sending that, so that's another initiative that we are doing as the city in terms of the wheeling. The improvement in energy efficiency, all our municipal building lights, we have retrofitted them with the LED lighting. We have a total of 1,300 conventional high mast poles. 50% of these high masts have been retrofitted with energy efficient LED lights till date. The city has estimated a total of 92,432 streetlight poles, and about 40% of these streetlights are retrofitted to LED till date. There's a total of 1,500 traffic lights across the city that we have retrofitted till date. We have occupancy sensors installed at all the municipal buildings across the city. These are, whenever there is no occupation, the occupancy sensors are there. So these are the lessons that we have learned as the city throughout the JET program from inception when we started. What we looked at is, we said the grid readiness is one of the gateway. It's important that the grid is very ready for JET, because grid readiness is one of the key, because it impacts your studies, your protection, your metering, and even your operational requirements that you will need. So one of the important KPIs that we are looking is to ensure that any projects that we do, we ensure that it aligns with the JET and the grid readiness. We looked at the implementation of policies, the SSEG and wheeling policies. We ensured that what we did is to ensure that we have policies that are speaking directly to JET. As the city, we've got an embedded generation policy. We've got a wheeling policy that we have published that customers are using, the feed-in tariffs that we have published as well, that are on our tariff book for the 26th year. Commercial banking matters, the long-term PPAs, the discount, escrow account. We had to learn the hard way, where we ensure that there is an escrow account, the bankability of the IPP projects, because this was one of the issues that our municipal IPPs were very adamant on. So we looked at the bankability, the escrow payment security, that we have ensured that we do have funding specifically for the IPPs, where we have ring-fenced the prepaid funds from the city will be ring-fenced, and from that prepaid funding from the city, the first people to be paid out of that ring-fence fund is the IPP before we even pay any other customers. So this we had to do. We were glad that council approved this, and this was one of our key milestones in terms of the municipal IPP project that we have looked at. And one of the challenges that I would say was the billing and revenue. When we started talking of the feed-in tariff, one of the issues was, is our billing system ready for this feed-in tariff? And that was, we had to learn the hard way that there's not a lot of billing systems that were ready to implement our feed-in tariff. So this was one of the key learnings and challenges that we are having. Hence, we are still even on the pilot phase now. The recommendations from our side on what we have learned, we said start with the technical ready projects and the municipal assets, then scale up into your IPP and market models. So from our side, the JET message from the city is that a JET municipal energy transition, it must be practical, grid aware, financially sustainable and inclusive to all the customers and the policymakers and the city itself. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Majala. The very last message, it must be practical, and it also needs to be efficient and sustainable, and also the infrastructure grid aware. Thank you very much for that. I'm gonna call upon the two colleagues who presented before to come to the fore and open it up for questions and discussion. Questions that you would like to ask the three municipalities? Can I see the hands with questions or comments? Okay. Yeah, Mr. Taviso, you can't have questions. You can only have answers today, but you can come this side so that you can respond. And so, Mr. Ngobani, you can come to the fore. You can only have questions today, Mr. Taviso. You can't have questions. I saw two hands. Can I see those hands again? 1, 2, 3, in that order. We can start with you, Doc, and then, yeah, in that order. You can ask question, and then you also introduce yourself, name, organization, and also indicate the person that you are dedicating your question to. If it's all, you can just say across all municipalities. Thank you.
Isaac Salahai from GIFA. No, thanks for the presentation. I think they were very insightful. In essence, when the province started the issue, emphasizing on the issue of rooftop solar, I know that DID did 6 megawatts for hospital rooftop solars. And one of the disadvantages was vandalism on the rooftop solar, but it was very good. But the way you presented it, I think, Ekurhuleni and City of Joburg, I think it's quite encouraging that maybe the province in its institutions they should follow the same, and maybe just, I don't know, how do you beef up security, because I think that was where the problem is. But my last question is on microgrids. Just this morning we had a steering committee that reports to the Premier Steering Committee. And they were indicating that they want to introduce microgrids for Everton and Fuleni for the 32,000 households. And I know that City of Joburg talked about Amarasta and what. But I'm just wondering, what is electricity rates compared to the normal rates? I know for IPPs it's very clear, their advantages are shared. But because this microgrid seems to be in informal settlements, what's the revenue collections there? And how does it unite communities? because if the rates are different, then you'll have problems with communities. That's my thinking. But thanks for the presentations; they were very good.
Thank you very much. Noted, Doc. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Cllr Dada from DCOC. My question is to Madam from Ekurhuleni. There were quite a few waste-to-energy projects that were approved in bid window 1 that never actually made it to implementation. I would like to know why, and I would like to know if there is any resolve, any kind of solution you have towards that, because I happen to know your problems a little bit in terms of landfills and those kind of challenges. Yeah, please just enlighten me if there's anything else in the waste-to-energy sector that has been done. Thanks.
A very good one. I think there were 46 IPPs, but anyway, Madam will clarify. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Jackie.
Thank you very much. One of my questions have been asked by Dr. Salahai, and then the other one was for City Power. The solar water heating system that you've installed on the less fortunate, was that done by the city itself in terms of finances, or was that supported by human settlement? If it's human settlement, was it done after? Did the city have to request assistance. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Ruby Matang from the city of Johannesburg. Just maybe from the panel, if they could share from the IPP side, revenue generation by municipalities. I mean, on billing, some of the challenges that they have, and what are those challenges and how do they overcome those challenges from the municipality perspective? Thank you.
No, thank you very much. We're going to start with Ms. Majola, and then we'll give Mr. Mabone an opportunity to answer, and lastly it will be Mr. Nkomo. Even if there's no question specifically dedicated to you, Mr. Nkomo, you can just give any reflection in any of the questions that you want to weigh in. But before you, Ms. Majola, let's just get the very last question from JK. There are 3 JKs here. JK at the back, yes.
Thank you. Mine is directed to Mr. Nkomo, actually, and just on the carbon emissions trajectory, if he can share, particularly in view of the targets that are there, what is it that they are, or how are they? I know you've mentioned or touched on the measure and monitoring thereof, but just their trajectory from my side, that will be question number 1. The other one, it's I think to the both Munichs, the involvement of your marginalized stakeholders. In particular, I think I've seen that as well. There is a bit of a lack of that, but we can learn as well from, I think there was a schools project that was made mentioned of with Ekurhuleni. If Mr. Nkomo can just share the involvement of those important communities. Thank you.
Sorry, thanks. I will just take the waste to energy question. One of the key issues within the waste to energy, one of the issues was funding, which that we have taken care of in terms of payment guarantees. The second one was in terms of the amount of waste that we have, because on the first bid window, we have 2 key IPPs that had started in terms of the project. We have one in Roykral, one of the IPPs that is doing the Roykral waste there. What we found that the waste was not sufficient for what the IPP wants to produce. We still opened up to say he can look at alternative other wastes to ensure that he can build a 50 megawatt plant. But what was very key for us is to do the groundbreaking. He can start with the first 20 megawatt and ensure that from the first 20 that he can produce to the city. Even if he's got the 50, it was very critical that he starts with the groundbreaking. Then after the groundbreaking, he can look at alternative other waste that he can put into the project. We had a second one in Kempton Park, one of the IPP that looks into the Kempton Park side as well. The waste that side was really not sufficient. He started looking at other waste, tires. He did a bit of a study there to say what other waste can I source across the city. He looked at the tires, approached tire manufacturers to say how can they assist in terms of that to ensure that he increases the capacity of the megawatts. So they have started looking at other alternative of waste, not only looking at the landfill, but other waste opportunities that are in the city. So that's what they have done. Those were the 2 issues that we have from the technologies and the funding. I think DBSA assisted us as well in terms of the modeling of the pricing that we will use between the city and the IPPs. So we had a model between the city, the waste IPPs, the waste agreement that DBSA assisted us. That was the city, DBSA, where he gave us assistance and the IPPs. So we looked at the waste agreement as well from that side.
Sorry, just a follow-up on that. There was an issue of gate fees.
Yes.
That was a limitation to the feasibility in terms of the financial viability of the business case for IPPs, right? Have you sorted that out as a municipality and making room for several IPPs to now come and say that it makes financial sense to collect from the municipality's waste and other landfills and so forth, and then build these kind of projects? Thank you.
In terms of the negotiations, we were still busy with that, specifically with the legal department as well, because when the IPPs was appointed, there were pricing involved in the appointment letters. So that was very, very key to say what is the appointment letter saying in terms of pricing and the gate fees. So we had a session with legal and the IPPs and the city, the department, the IPPs and legal to say legally in terms of the signed pricing from the IPPs, how are we as the city, not how can we assist? But yes, the negotiations are still there with the IPPs. Thanks. The microgrid, Ekurhuleni doesn't have the microgrid, so I will hand over to our colleagues. I think there was a question on billing, to say IPP billing. I think the billing, specifically the wheeling, one of the issues again, IPP, because the IPP and the wheeling, I think it's the same thing. What we have seen now with the new NERSA rates, there were NERSA rates that were sent back to the city. We had to relook at what the NERSA rates were saying, specifically on our wheeling tariff, and we were not happy with that. So we have engaged NERSA as well, because it's important that the wheeling tariff, the city doesn't end up losing. So it must be a win-to-win between the city and the municipality. So the city is in continuous engagement with NERSA in terms of the latest tariffs that were approved recently, specifically on wheeling, because wheeling is one of the new frameworks that we are looking at, and we have to make sure that when we implement, it must be a win-win situation, the city and the custom. Thanks.
Thank you. I think my first question is from Dr. Salahai. It's with regard to the microgrid, how it makes sure that there's no division and there's unity amongst the community. The microgrid, it's a new concept, and obviously, as a municipality, we looked at from the angle of the proper community. So our prototype was in Amarasta, in Alexander. So there was an area that was a no-go area, and they were getting electricity for free from the grid. So the idea was to try to find a solution to provide a cheaper power, and it was in collaboration with Cllr and provincial government to supply that power. So the strategy behind that was we're going to supply 3 kilowatt day for each household. And the rate was going to be a flat rate. But it did not come as an easy thing. It was faced with manner of challenges. Stakeholder engagement had to be involved and be there daily to ensure that we do not have vandalism and all that. So in that, we still stick to the 3 kilowatt day. So, a standard household is about 13 kilowatt day. So a 3 kilowatt day, it's a very small capacity. So that is where we at, and I think stakeholders still engage in terms of how to collect revenue, because majority of the households are informal settlement, they don't even have bank accounts. The second one, it was Shalazile microgrid. So Shalazile, it's in Denver community. It is enclosed in a form of a complex type of setting. But just next to that microgrid, there is a hostel type of an environment. And people from the hostel, they're paying electricity. And the Denver community was it was a disastrous situation that I've explained earlier, that we moved there. And then they were meant to have power for free from that energy. But now, in terms of vandalism, we're faced with manner of challenges. The community is being divided because every now and then you've got people from the hostel throwing stones onto the panels and all that. So in terms of how to make sure that there is harmony, there is peace, our stakeholders, they are always on the ground to try to ensure that the leaders and community leaders in the area, they ensure that they have an understanding as to how we're going to be moving forward with this type of technologies. It is not targeted to a specific population, but where the intervention is needed, it is rolled out. So that is the part with the microgrid and divisions in the community. And then we had a question with regard to the solar water heater systems. It was a sponsorship from the Department of DMRE then, which is, I think, is DEE now. And the installation part was carried by City Power. Yes, the reason why we had more than, I think, an average municipality is because the other municipalities were not able to do the installation because, I think, of budget constraints, and we were the beneficiaries of those solar heater geysers that were donated to those municipalities. The other question was with regard to the billing of the IPP, of the SSEGs. We have policies that are currently going through authorization and approval stages. That sets out the tone as to what needs to be done. With our STPPP systems, there was the net billing policies, and there were rates that were promulgated then in the time of the PPAs. So those were the rates that were agreed upon. And then the last one, I think, from Memara Mailana, it was with regard to the involvement of the marginalized communities and the school competitions and other capacity building initiatives that we are doing as a city. I must say that in the last 2 years, we've been having the schools or the initiatives from the non-fees paying schools to have those JET initiatives to try to give or bring a campaign to their peers to say that they have better understanding of what type of initiatives they can bring about so that we can take them through your R&D to make sure that those prototypes, they are feasible. So I think we just awarded the last, for this financial year, we just awarded the winning, and we still have to look into those prototypes that they came about and see how feasible they are. The idea is to bring new technologies, and those kids, they are not constrained by what is the current status quo, where we harvesting power from your solar PVs and from your waste to energy and from your coal generation. They are looking beyond those technologies, and we are interested in how to put those initiatives through the R&D systems and see how we can make a better and a greater opportunity out of that. Thank you.
Thank you. From my side, there was a question on which was related to the project on energy efficiency, where I touched on the savings. I think it's worth mentioning that in terms of the municipality, the public lighting infrastructure, we have about over 4,500 street lights, which all the target is to have them all retrofitted, including also high mast lights as well. So how we go around it is based on the budget which we get, or the budget from the grant, which is the Energy Efficiency and Demand Side Management grant. We come up with a business case where we calculate and see how many streetlights we can be able to do with that particular budget, and then from that number, then the savings which will be achieved, they get calculated as well. Maybe just to also have a bite in terms of the, though I know it was a question which was directed to the colleague next to me, the schools competition. We also had a schools competition which we held, where we were trying to push the drive of energy efficiency awareness. I would say the challenge which we had there was to try, and especially in terms of the date in which we had proposed to do that adjudication, because we did open it to the schools through invites with the assistance of the district education offices, as well as the political side from the office of our mayor. We did get the list of schools, and then we sent the invites. The challenge which was there was that at that time some would worry about the commitments and even the exams. So it's just those things. But in terms of the message for the day, I think the schools who managed to participate, they got the message, and we were even happy to see that in terms of the understanding with regards to these energy efficiency concepts, they did understand that well, because we had to even categorize it in terms of posters and as well as a short film category, and then we had to adjudicate based on that, and then we had to offer in-kind prizes just to motivate the schools. Yeah, I would end there. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Those are good stories from the local government. I'm sure you've noted all the initiatives they mentioned. Then I think the next step will be issues around quantification of how much rent is being saved, how much emissions reduction from all the initiatives that they've presented. I was at Lipalale solar PV project launch yesterday, which is by Exaro. They are quite clear in terms of how much they're going to save per annum, 100 million rand per annum. So if you're ESCOM, you need to know that you're going to lose 100 million from the 68 megawatt solar PV. So similarly, I think in the next session, we're going to be now zooming into the CO2 emission saved, rand and cent saved, and all those kind of things. Why is that important? We are working towards establishing a dashboard from SALGA that will give you from SALGA website all this information, and also the rand and cent saved, the carbon emissions saved. Then this is the information that is critical. This is information that municipalities are working hard in these jet energy projects. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your good story that you have told us. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Can you give them hands of applause, please? Yes, sorry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, having said that, what we're going to do now, we're going to finish up with the remaining three presentations. We're going to make them shorter. The first one, as the colleague is working towards the stage, that will be from JIVA, Dr. Isaac Salahai. He's a Chief Director, Project Management. He's going to take us through the work that JIVA is doing. We'll then immediately go to the TUT Professor Molelekwa will actually give us also the work that they are doing in terms of JET from TUT. He is from the Department of Environmental Health. But without any further ado, Doc, you can come and take us through the good work that you are doing from GIFA. And the last presentation will be Cllr. That will also give us a snap map of what they are doing. If you can make it shorter, Doc.
Yeah. No, thanks. I think we are given 6 minutes each, 7. We are sharing 20 minutes, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. Okay, colleagues, I think maybe because we are given that this is our mandate for GIFA, project development, structured financing, and partnerships, obviously to find alternative funding models. Then I'll just go directly. We normally work with Cllr because of their responsibilities in municipalities, using their Gauteng energy security strategy and their pillars. Directly to project number 1 that we are involved in. It is rooftop solar for 11 hospitals in Gauteng. It's a 100 million rands project. Where we are now, this project delayed because of some issues that related to how the project will be, how the department will benefit from it. I think those issues have been solved. It has been signed off by the Department of Health and the Department of Infrastructure Development. Now we've submitted that to National Treasury for TA3 approval stage. The next one, this is for P. The next one is Merafong Solar Farm project. There are similar projects. I remember we approached also by, is it Rotterdam, somewhere in Tshwane, where they are doing 240 megawatt DC, and I think they want to talk to City of Joburg regarding the project. Is it automated? Sorry. Yeah. But this project is an 8 billion project. Initially, we were looking at 6 developers, but we are having 3 developers. 2 of them already have gotten the environmental authorization, and they are applying for ESCOM budget code. It is a 800 megawatt project in a 1,500 hectares. The next one, I thought that City of Joburg will talk about, Ntate Mabona will talk about it. It is COJ project, 5.7 billion project. It have already gotten a BFI funding for 1.6 billion, and the Invest International 500 million. These are grants. It's a 25 megawatt project. It's also a municipal P. It's on market stage. Its closing date, it's 7th of August. It was on the market for 3 months. It have just been extended for 2 weeks. The next one is AID Solar. That's the last one. Ntate Kekana was participating fully on it. Phase 1 have been completed for 1 megawatt. Phase 2, it's the 7 megawatts where we are still busy with it. Thanks, Chair. I hope my 6 minutes, I got it right.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Doc. I think, yes, you gave a summary of the projects that you are working on, and the good part of it is that we're going to share the slides with this information. And yes, whoever that may have questions, follow-up questions, of course, there will be an opportunity after the presentation by Cllr. But before Cllr, let me allow Prof to also come and give us a snapshot of the work that they're doing. Prof, you can... Thank you very much. And then after Prof, Cllr will actually do the same, and then we'll take it from there. Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Molelekwa, and I'm from Tshwane University of Technology. So I'll just try to rush through this because I'll be presenting like I'm giving or I'm sharing a story, And basically, the project is about using waste biomass to produce briquettes and pellets for space heating and cooking. And then both of these products can be used for household and industrial applications. And just to start the process, or the presentation, basically I'll just go through that. And then to maybe highlight certain important aspects is to say that literature has shown that South Africa's electrification rate sits at 86.5%. But it is estimated that between 43% and 47% of the country's households are classified as energy poor. And energy poverty in South Africa affects both urban and rural populations. Over 11 million households do not have safe, reliable, or affordable access and provision of electricity. And approximately 60% of rural households lack access to electricity, and over 40% of households connected to the grid are considered energy poor, spending more than 20% of their monthly income on electricity. And households experiencing extreme energy poverty are heavily reliant on various energy sources for their domestic energy needs. And these sources of energy include paraffin, which is affordable but toxic and flammable. And we also have LPG, which is considered cleaner but expensive and also flammable. And electricity that is used by many consumers, but it is also unaffordable to low-income groups. And we also have solar that is cleaner and it's renewable, but it's expensive to install. And we also have now firewood, which is affordable and available, but causes indoor air pollution and respiratory diseases. So looking at who is using these sources of energy, we can see that firewood and paraffin are used by low-income households, and then solar and gas are used by middle and high-income households. And electricity is used by the entire range from low to high-income households. So this basically showed us that there is a gap in terms of sources of energy, alternative sources of energy. And now we have considered this project at TUT to convert waste biomass to produce briquettes. Briquettes are basically products that are from biochar, and then you also include a binder. But then the most important aspects are the use of locally available waste biomass, and then the product should be affordable for low-income groups, and it should improve health, family living standards, and also use affordable technology. And then on that, that picture shows what we have produced at TUT. We have our a farm. It's our research farm, basically. That's where we are conducting our experiments. And then basically why we chose biomass, because it is readily available and abundant. However, on the other side, which is the challenge, is that the manual production of briquettes is time consuming, and there is direct release of emissions from carbonizing equipment as we make biochar. And then also the modern technologies like your gasifier carbonizing equipment are also costly. So then we also have, as an opportunity, the government's involvement in the debushing, or clearing of invasive plant species, and also encroaching bushes. And here you can see that it is an EPWP program which was implemented in the Free State, whereby people were appointed to take out slangbosch, which is called a bankrupt bush, which is affecting a lot of farmers. But then the challenge is that once that has been taken out, it is left there. They just leave it because there's no, intended use for that. People don't see any value in that. So that, so then what happens is that it regrows, after rainy season, and then it becomes, a continuous process. You go in, and farmers cannot use their land. Then, this opportunity basically is that the bankrupt bush can be used to produce briquettes. And then another opportunity is the municipal garden refuse, because municipalities incur costs for the processing and disposal of garden refuse without financial benefits. And then garden refuse can be used for briquettes and pellet production. Here you can see the picture. It just shows the bankrupt bush, because we started with the bankrupt bush, which we collected around just around Soshanguve, and then we went there just to collect it. But then the challenge is that you cannot take it outside of that area, so we have to make sure that we grind it, and then, or you contain it so that you don't pollute other areas. And then the targeted biomass, basically now the range, we have that bankrupt bush. We also have prosopis, which is also one of the problematic trees in the Northern Cape and Northwest. We also have sickle bush in Mpumalanga, and then we have blackthorn, which is also found in the Northern Cape and Northwest. And this is one of the trees, the main tree that is being used for charcoal production in Namibia, because in the Northern Cape we share the same vegetation as Namibia. And then we also have Lantana camara, which is found in Mpumalanga. We also have now as a targeted species, which is the sawdust, as well as garden refuse, as I've indicated, because we know there are manufacturers who are manufacturing school desks, because this is what we collected from that company, and then we use it. So before we did any experiments, we checked around for people who are involved in briquette making, on the continent and around the globe. But then we came across a company in Kenya that is producing the briquettes, but then they are using waste sludge. So they are using a very simple technology. I think I'll be able to see that. It's a drum granulator that you use. You just use a starch binder. In fact, it's molasses that they are using there. And then that technology was transferred to us. We managed to build our own drum granulator. And then these are the briquettes that were produced. And then we then went to our lab, and then we tried various starch binders. We tried different carbonized biomass, and then we managed to eventually, come up with different briquettes. So after that, we also went to Mpumalanga, It's York Timbers. They are into milling. They are using timber, timber production, and also processing. So they are making poles. So they are producing a lot of waste, in terms of wood chips and soda. So they brought that to our facility, and then we managed to produce briquettes. And then you'll see that there's some people there who are making those. So these are women who are making these by hand. So we just thought that now let us look at that and see how it will, pan out. But then we managed to do that. And then after that, they came, they collected the briquettes, and then we went to Mpumalanga. But then before we did that, we started with our, experimentation, where we wanted to see whether we could be able to cook. And then this stove, I was told that it was distributed in Bushbuck Ridge. So, but then the company is in Durban. So they are producing these stoves, the cook stoves. So we did that. You can see inside the cook stove how red the charcoal is. And then on the side, you can see the kiln that is being used, to heat up water. But then they are just generating heat that is being taken inside the drying bed of the at York Timbers. So here we wanted to check now how our briquettes are performing, in that kiln. So you can see that, our briquettes are burning, there's no, incomplete combustion. And then we also introduced draft inside, so that we can see how it will perform. Because initially they are using moist or offcuts, and then they were not burning properly, if you can see on the left. And then we used our briquettes, and then we introduced that forced air, the draft. But then if you look at the chimney, you can see that there's no visible smoke, dark smoke that is coming out, which shows that our briquettes can burn clean, and they can be used for that application. And then next to York Timbers in the Graskop, we also managed to talk to Holke sawmills. They are using the same kiln to heat up, but then they are also using the offcut. So you can see the amount of air pollution coming out of that, and also the energy efficiency. The energy output is very less compared to our briquettes. So this is something that showed us that our briquettes can be utilized for industrial application. And then we tried, because we know we like braai, so we tried that and see whether it can be okay. There you'll see we have corn, we have meat, and then also plant-based. I'm a vegetarian, of course, so we wanted to see whether I can be able to try something out, but then it came out very nice. And then we also now tried, with cook stoves and our briquettes. We gave them to different individuals so that they can just use them, to say, are they okay? What is your feel? What do you think could be, improved? And what is it you liked and what you didn't like about the briquettes and the cook stove? So we did that also in Hammanskraal and in Bonaccord, and in Montana. So this is the response. The evidence that they were used, the people were happy. And then we also now increased the number of stoves, of cook stoves. And this time around, we used different cook stoves. And then we used them for space heating. So on the right, you can see that it is inside. It's a wooden floor. And then we use them. And this is, how they are inside. So there isn't really any smoke, but you have to, keep them outside for about 10 minutes, and then they will be red like that. And then we used that. It was a conference later, I think it was last month. It was at church. They had the youth event, and then we gave them the stoves, just to heat up so that they can, keep warm. And then, it also delivered. And then again in fireplaces, So we also used that, and it also performed, and we got good results, responses. And then here we tried now with the chicken farm, the chicken broiler, in Bonaccord. It's a very big one. I think they're taking about 30,000 chicks, at a go. So they have 5 houses. So we brought our briquettes there. And what they did is they take out the coal because they're using coal. So we're telling them that try our product out and see what's going to happen. So we used about 1 ton of our briquettes for 12 hours because it's a 12-hour cycle. In the morning they switch on the machine, this kiln, and then they switch it off around 6 o'clock in the morning. So the response was also positive, and even the owner, he wanted now to continue, getting the briquettes from us. And then we also now tried with the pellets, So this is basically the slung boss. It's in the northwest, but just, I think it's bordering northwestern Gauteng. They call it Morenson farm, but it is on the northwest side. So I'm also working with the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, land care program sector. So we went there and then we collected the bankrupt bush, we milled it because they have a hammer mill, but then also the department managed to buy the small hammer mill and the pelletizer. So that shows how we milled it. And then because we're in a farm, there were cabbage leaves, because he was planting cabbage. So we mixed that with cabbage because this slug boss is dry, and then the cabbage, they have a lot of moisture. So we wanted to use that as a binder, and then we used a little bit of molasses, and we managed to make those briquettes. So this basically demonstrates that we can be able to, use this for space heating, and then also for cooking. But then also we have some addition in terms of the value to say once we have this, we know that there will be training needed and skills development, support, manufacturing of cook stoves. It's a quite range of value addition aspects. But then I would just like to indicate that now there is, the proposal for us as TUT to collaborate with municipalities, because this concept or the technology, we have a patent for it, and then we are saying we can work with municipalities, using the patent. And then the benefits basically would, look at Gauteng circular biomass system, because I heard that Ekurhuleni, they're having a problem with, insufficient waste biomass. So here we're saying if now we look at this, we'll be able to really, streamline the waste biomass that is coming out, or the waste, into 3 different parts, so that at least we know for grass, this is what we are using it for, hoodie and invasive plant species for charcoal and briquettes as well. And then we can see, as opposed to composting only, because that's what, I think maybe all the municipalities are involved in composting. So if we have a combined circular biomass system, then we are able to derive more benefits economically. And then also in terms of employment, we'll employ more people because we are generating, we are adding a lot of, sectors across the value chain. And then the other one is also on climate change, the climate benefits, because now we are reducing, waste to energy, waste to landfill, we are diverting that, and then also using, there will be increased, as we have seen with the solar PV, uptake, so then we'll be seeing also people now changing from using, paraffin, using, even gas, now using mass waste products like pellets and briquettes. And then the other one is basically to say we're looking at now all the metros, because if the metros can work together, they will be able to really, share the resources share, even, quantify their waste biomass and then use that. And then also to, at the end of the day, to have, a Gauteng biomass hub, basically, or innovation. So that's basically what we have. And I think you will contact us and then we can work together. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, Prof. This is where collaboration comes in, research, development, and innovation, which is very, we appreciate that, a lot of information. Prof, if you can share with us your slides, I don't know. Oh, great, thank you very much. And also, Ekurhuleni and City Power, please. Okay, so having said that, Prof, let's then look at what Cllr is working on. I'm going to call upon Mr. Cllr Kekana. He is from Cllr RMO, Results Management Office of the Cllr. Mr. Kekana, if you can come to the fore as opening your slides. And then after Mr. Kekana, we'll open it up for questions and answers, and Ms. Mbobo will give us the way forward, closing remarks as well as way forward. But let's then welcome Mr. Kekana. Over to you, Mr. Kekana.
Good afternoon, colleagues. All protocol observed, and I'll be the shortest guy if you give me the most attention. All right, I am representing Cllr today, and we are going to present on the Municipal JET and Municipal Utility Reform Project. So in short, the MURP, as it is called, is initiative from Go RSA and the National Pilot Project, which is funded by the National Focus with Cllr as the project sponsor. Essentially, what we're trying to do there is support municipalities and helping them. We sourced Mpumalanga as one of the first to pilot this project and assist in the area of water and energy. I'm going to, because I'll be skipping through a lot of these, I'm just going to highlight some of the key points and then we pass through. The MURP seeks to support municipalities in water and energy, and as you can see, we have selected 4 municipalities in this area. Let me just adjust. All right, so we have been, and we are going to support Governor Mbeki in water. We are going to support City of Mbombela. We are also going to support Lekwa and Emalahleni underwater and energy. So Cllr's role in there will be together with National Treasury as the borrower and managing the African Development Bank loan repayment, as well as reporting on the agreed initiatives. My most important slide is this one. I would like us to really just pay attention because this will give us an understanding of the model and how it works. We are receiving funds from FCDO. I think your laptop might be small, sir, or my eyes are not seeing well. And they will send money to AFDB. And from there, that will go through National Treasury, and essentially DBSA will be your PMO. They will be managing that relationship between the municipality, Cllr, as well as the private contractor. So there will be a tripartite agreement there between the municipality, the private contractor, and DBSA, of which Cllr will be playing the program sponsor. When you focus on the green arrows, you begin to see how the cash will be flowing. It will be coming from African Development Bank, going all the way to National Treasury, and then through DBSA where it will be dispersed. But key to that is that we also have installed an independent verification agent who will be making sure at each stage the progress that is being done on the project. So essentially, the municipality will be submitting a JET project, and I'll touch on that later. And after they submitted that JET project, it'll go through a selection criteria based on its technical merits and all other sectors I'll show you later in the presentation. And essentially, after those projects have been chosen and allocated, they now begin the process of appointing a private contractor who will be doing the implementation. The private contractor only receives money per milestone, gets paid per milestone, not just invoicing. So we're trying to eliminate the process where projects and capital projects are not being completed primarily because of these structures that we currently have. So removing all of that and getting into a position where you do the work, you get paid. You do the work, you get paid. And if you don't do the work, or if the independent agency sees that work as not having met the standards, then of course it gets redone until it meets the standard. So it challenges the contractor to bring his best at all times and not use cheap material and all kinds of things, and also challenges the municipality to ensure that they follow the processes to ensure that the project gets done. So all of these entities and stakeholders are seen here as playing critical roles to ensuring that the MURP gets done. This is a system that's going to be piloted in Mpumalanga primarily because of the number of coal-fired power stations that are out there. And as part of JET, it is seen as the highest pinnacle of resistance. So once you break those walls down, you are then going to have greater chance of implementing in other areas. I hope that makes sense. Moving forward. So there are different elements in there into the delivery model, of which I already spoke about the phase contracting model. There's contracts that will then include a span of 20 years, and this will be to ensure sustainability and accountability. We'll have an initial phasing in, and you'll have other processes like your private partners coming in, and there will be selection criteria that are used there. Risks that are shared, and that allows that the municipality knows that if work is not done, if work is not implemented, there are consequences to that. And I think this is one of the critical issues that we're seeing with municipalities. Work does not get done and nothing happens. And there's no accountability on that part, and we're trying to eliminate that. So once the project is approved, before the money goes through, the municipality gets into an agreement with COCTA, with the contractor, as well as DBSA, together with all the functionaries that are with us. Looking at the next steps, so the MURP as it stands today, we are under process of an MOA between National Treasury, COCTA, DBSA, at this time. So once that takes place, you will see that going forward, all the other processes will come into being. So it is something that is being piloted, and we think that it should be implemented over the next year. So I would ordinarily stop here, but because I still have time, 2 minutes. So looking at the PMO, so I touched on the PMO falling under DBSA, right? And what's important there is that you need to know that DBSA will be in charge of procurement, in charge of monitoring, capacity support, as well as contract management. So DBSA is really going to be hands-on, but they are beholden to COCTA in this regard, which means they now have to give us feedback quarterly and so forth as to what's taking place and where the limitations are. I want to quickly give you this overview, and I think this gives you a perfect picture of who the key stakeholders are and what role they play. And my favorite of these happens to be the independent verification agent, because I think this is going to change how municipalities do projects going forward. We are no longer just going to say municipal manager or the technical guy who's in charge gets to do verification. We are going to actually get someone who has no stake and no form of beneficiation and to do the verification. And I think that's going to change the landscape. So essentially, the mandate, I'm going to skip that, but it's to make things better, in short. We want to make things better, as I've mentioned. We want to get to a place where municipalities are able to take full responsibility of the projects that they're implementing. We want to ensure that monitoring and evaluation is not just an oversight, but actually has consequences to the right delivery of the project. The MOA development approach, I think I've already touched on this, but yeah, it's DBSA as the implementing agent. National Treasury will be the borrower oversight and reporting, COCTA program sponsorship and municipal performance oversight, and then there will be quarterly reporting, risk escalation, and compliance obligations. So because this will be piloted, and it's one of the first times we're doing this, obviously things might be slower in the first year, first go around. But I think once we find our feet, once we begin to understand what are the consequences when the independent verification agent says that this is not a good thing that you've done, what does that look like? So all of those debugging will be taking place as we are learning. It's called a pilot process, but once we get it right, I think every other municipality stands a good chance of benefiting. So yeah, this is our roadmap, and for sake of time, I'll close it here because the next few slides really just talk about how we want to get projects from municipalities, and those projects will be selected like this, and they'll go through a selection criteria. That criteria will be based on technology, legal compliance, socioeconomic impact. My eyes, I'm failing. I wear glasses, I confess, but I thought they didn't go with my outfit. But so here I am. Thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you so much.
Don't go. No, thank you very much, Mr. Kekan. Doc and Prof, if you can come to the floor so that we can take questions and answers. Mr. Kekan, you know, these are not, decors. They're not decorations. Whether the outfit or not, it doesn't matter. You know, Mr. Kekan said my laptop is small, but I can see everything in my laptop. Yeah. Forget about outfit, Mr. Kekan. Do the right thing.
I didn't use yours, I used mine.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's just get a few questions, and we'll then wrap up. Ms. Babalambobo, my colleague, will walk as the three gentlemen will be answering your questions. Let's see, do we have questions from GIFA, TUT, as well as Result Management Office, COCTA? Noted one. Is there any other hand? Okay, two. Okay, it's fine. We're going to take two questions, and we'll afford Doc, Prof, and Mr. Kekan to answer those questions. You can start with, yes, you can come in.
Thank you. My first question is to Doc. I just would like to ask, how can other municipalities benefit from your programs of having microgrid or solar plants to be able to reduce reliance from Eskom, mostly given in areas like Mogale City where we've got kind of like some low-income houses so they can benefit. And then to Prof, I just want to ask, this brilliant idea, which I think now I understand it, I've bumped to it before, how will it prevent the environment, the people from debushing the environment just to try and, you know how it is when there's a business idea, everybody wants to go for it, and then we might end up not having trees because they want to benefit from this. Because I see it as a good initiative, also to partner with SMMEs in the municipalities. With that said, I'll request your contact details so that I can link you up with the environment in the Mogale City. lastly is from Mr. Kekana. With this program, I would like to understand, I'm not sure if it's the same one which we had to decline from Cllr City. Is this just a kind of like a loan program or which we have to pay back, or is just a funding where if we qualify then you help us to improve our water and energy within the municipalities? Thanks.
Good questions, but you missed an opportunity to ask him why didn't he put on his glasses. But anyway, it's okay. The last one.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. Valentine Lukong. I'm also coming from National Cocktail. So my question will be to our good doctor from GIFA. I see you are busy with solar plans, and I also see that colleagues from other municipalities, when we talk about renewable, the focus is still so much on the solar. And I'm thinking, based on the available knowledge, that in the next 25 years, we might be having a catastrophe because this thing becomes useless after 25 years. What plans do we have, maybe to recycle or alternatives to that? And to our Prof from TUT. Prof, I see very good presentation and a very good initiative. But one thing we are still missing, and I think is also for other colleagues, we're not taking advantage of the hydrogen economy. I saw there is a very good plan right from Limpopo through Gauteng to Durban. But all the municipalities, all the institutions, we're not saying anything about hydrogen fuel cells or hydrogen energy as part of this, our JET program is concerned. I don't know why is it like that, or do we have plan, or do we have students working on that, or what? Thank you, thank you.
We'll start with you, Doc, and then Prof will be next.
Okay. No, thanks a lot. In essence, I forgot another project, the AWTT. It was on my last slide for City of Tshwane, which is an 8.5 billion project for 88 megawatts. We did a feasibility study for it, and then now, because time has lapsed because of political instability in Tshwane, we are updating that through the funding from ISA, Infrastructure South Africa. So our role is different. Our role is to get private sector to play, to map private sector with municipalities or even other entities. The one in Mirafong is Sibanye land. So Sibanye obviously gave land 1,500 hectares for that purpose. So because now the developers are private developers, just trying to answer the first question, you can't dictate to developers what to do. So obviously they have to do all the process and as I said, budget codes with ESCOM and ultimately get off-takers. So off-takers is their own responsibilities. Obviously, for APPs, that's why I made an example of Rotterdam Sunshine, somewhere in Tshwane, because they also approached us. They have a 240 megawatts DC, and they are looking for an off-taker for 50 to 100 megawatts. They've already done budget code with ESCOM. So these are our engagement is more on mapping. But I remember in the Premier Energy Council, that issue was raised, more especially for Mirafong, to say, how does that benefit Mirafong? But obviously, the moment you look at that, you look at the standing of municipality. Can it be able to? And when you look at local municipalities, unfortunately, they fall on the red part. So then ultimately the municipalities that can do that can have a case. It's only metros, unfortunately, that can play in that space. In terms of what will happen to the plans after 100 years, I think, is the same question that can be asked to City Power and to ESCOM. What happens to the plants, the coal plants that have been working for many years? Then what happens after their time? I think it's a difficult question. I don't have an answer for that because obviously when it comes to solar plants, the way they do it, normally they make it to be a solar plant, but also in as much as it's a solar, it also becomes some kind of an agricultural area. So they normally pair the two when you look at the feasibilities that are done on that. So it depends on feasibility, because when you do feasibility, you also have to do answer that part of the question. Unfortunately, I won't answer the last one. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, yes, the issue of people cutting trees, it's happening because people don't have any alternative, cheaper or affordable alternative. But then you'd see that in most cases, it happens where people are cutting and then they're selling those as, the blocks. But then for us, we are saying municipalities should acknowledge and appreciate what they have, the resources they have, in the form of your waste, your garden refuse, your trees as they prune trees. You'd see, and in most cases, you'd find municipalities working on this in their garden refuse facilities. And then the private sector comes and collects and goes and make, they convert that into compost. But then if you have an alternative, that should definitely, cut on that, because we know, even from Mozambique, they don't have trees anymore because they've been using their trees for charcoal production and also for that. So these are the things that we have to also maybe indicate. But then it depends again on the area. I know in the Northern Cape and Northwest, we have a serious problem of bush encroachment. So that is something that would also assist in terms of, in rural areas, just to come up with this product and be able to sell it. And even the slum goes or the bush, bankrupt bush and these other targeted species, they are all over, So that would also enable people to access cheap and cleaner source of energy. Yeah. And then regarding the hydrogen, I think we do have that at our university, but then, it depends again on your stream, because once you start, as a researcher, and even yourself as you go along, you choose your path. So I chose, to go this route of waste to energy, because it's something that I've, started a long time ago. But then we do have Professor Ramakokobu. I think she's doing that, at TUT. But then she's also clubbing with other researchers. So it is definitely something that you might not see now, but it is gaining momentum. And even battery storage, products are being, looked into. And then, like in last week, they were talking about white hydrogen, in France. And you'll start hearing about that because we have mountains, all over. So that is something that is coming. You'll hear people now talking about white hydrogen, and they are saying it is more efficient in terms of energy. It doesn't have, it's not intensive as opposed to green hydrogen. Thank you.
Thank you. To answer the question of whether or not it's a loan, it's a yes and no. And I'll explain it like this. Yes, it is a loan that comes internationally to African Development Bank and more to National Treasury. So by the time the National Treasury gets it, it's a loan. By the time the municipality gets it, it's a grant. And the reason they do that is that the municipality receives the free service indirectly. But there's accountability that must be held for that money not being used for the right thing. So they use that to say that it's a loan if the municipality and DBSA do not ensure that it gets used for the right thing. So National Treasury will be beholden to say, can we have our money back that we have spent for this project that does not exist today, right? But it's a grant when the work is actually done. I also want to give credit to Doc Valentine, who's working hard on this. I don't know, maybe if he wants to make a comment on that, because he's my colleague in this. We are together. Doc.
Thanks, Tate Kekana. I don't think there's any need for me to make a comment. Dr. Silas is very, very versed with the municipal utility reform program. So you've already explained it. So you get a loan from the African Development Bank to National Treasury, and National Treasury then give this money to municipalities as a grant. The only thing now is there is a private service contractor that is going to be there to make sure that he carries out the project. So your utility programs such as water and energy might be run by that private service contractor. So all the municipality need to do is come up with a project like this is what we need to fix, this is what we need to be done, and then they will ring fence that utility and make sure that these reforms takes place in the municipality. And once that is done, I think there will be improvement in the provision of services to residents of that municipality and also in the revenue of the municipality. But there's actually, at this point, no big risks on the municipality since you're just getting a grant from the National Treasury. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. If there are follow-up questions, we can then, as we go for lunch, engage have bilaterals around the follow-up questions. Thank you very much, Doc, Prof, and Mr. Kekana. I hope next time when you come here, we'll be having your classes. Thank you very much. Thanks. My colleague Ubaba Lwa will be coming here to do the way forward, and then after her, I will then make a few announcements and close. Thank you very much.
Okay, now thank you, colleagues, thank you, Doc. So the way forward, we'll basically split it in two. Like the first one, focusing at municipalities. Usually the main objective for Just Energy Transition Awareness Campaign is to basically to hear municipal voices, to actually hear their needs. Whereby we need to address as SALGA to also double-check the readiness in relation to just energy transition, to also integrate whatever that has been discussed in these awareness campaigns in our municipal IDPs and all that. So we have heard from City Power that when it comes to the challenges they've mentioned there, I think they do have challenges on microgrid challenges, whereby we will be meeting with them in terms of addressing those challenges. The mid-val, they did mention issues of wheeling and cost of supply. So those two topics, Dr. Salas is working with those two topics. So we will be assisting you colleagues on that. The city of Ekurhuleni, they spoke about policies on renewable energy independent power producers. We are working on that, especially with Northern Cape municipalities. So I think we will also need to rope in or to also work with city of Ekurhuleni. So yeah, we will be meeting with all those municipalities in terms of addressing such. And then again, what I can also say that is that we have heard clearly that municipalities are already, taking forward the just transition or just energy transition initiatives, but the scale and the pace of the implementation, it remains constrained. So as SALGA, that's what we have just realized now. So the discussion highlights three key issues, which is the need for stronger coordination, obviously with municipalities. Secondly, the targeted support, because really right now we have only mentioned few municipalities, which is just a drop in the ocean because we've got 257 municipalities in the country that we need to assist, as well as the practical alignment, between the national frameworks and the municipal realities. So we will be working with you colleagues in relation to that. And then to our stakeholders, thank you, TUT, GIFA, as you were presenting your projects, especially the GIFA one. From my side, Dr. Silas is working with sustainable energy. From my side, I'm the just energy transition. So the just part, it is very much critical to me, like the job creation, the SMME development, community trust, you know, the corporate social responsibilities. So I am happy to see that in Gauteng we are having those renewable energy independent power producers. I had a meeting with IPP office on Monday, whereby they said that no, Gauteng and KZN, we don't have any projects there. So I'm happy to see that as the Gauteng province, we are working on that in terms of making sure that we have such. With TUT, we really need to work with you colleagues, like in all our municipalities, as I've mentioned earlier, that in Mpumalanga, Western Cape, they need assistance in relation to waste to energy projects. I think we also need to have some partnership, you know, between SALGA and GIFA, as well as TUT, formal partnerships as we do with other organizations. And then when it comes to COCTA, we are working with you on a daily basis. You also chair our work streams under JET. Yeah, so going forward, we'll be working together, colleagues, and we'll also try to address all the challenges that have been raised here. Thank you so much. Dr. Sai, over to you.
No, thank you very much, Babalwa. So just want to check where exactly are we in terms of program, and then announcement is that we just want to check if we all do the attendance register QR code and sign. Please, let's make sure we need 100% attendance register in terms of sign and so on. Signing, yeah, I think the last part that I'm going to do is close. With this part, I have prepared a speech that will take at least 2 hours. I'll try to be short, but for some reasons, I can't say, okay, the cursor is there. So now, okay, anyway, let's leave the case. I will just go through the speech here, at least 2 hours from now. Okay, so thank you very much. As Pablo said, it's a clear way forward, concise and so on. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do now is that please make sure QR code, if there's anyone who hasn't done that, by all means do sign, because we do need that. And we once again appreciate all the stakeholders. We can, you know, only way to get this right is to work together, not work against each other. Work together, let's collaborate, let's partner, and then surely we will get there. We also want to also indicate that in terms of lunch, we decided that perhaps we take the afternoon fast and pray instead of eating lunch. Then we're going to close the doors and pray the whole afternoon. We're not going to have lunch. Anyway, on a lighter note, lunch is available. Let's then close. Thank you very much once again. The session is closed. Let's go for lunch. Thank you very much. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.